steal from over the other side of the coast as well, actually. So Yangon Galacticos being able to rip that 1 point away. But that just sets the alarm bells for Regnum Karia, Loxy and Toshpik. From up top of the hillside, they get vision, take some bullets down range and claim one back of their own.
It's a horrible approach for Regnum Karia. And they have to send it. Romeo should have heard that. Loxley's going to send forward, so at least they have a player in the back line there. Nope, never mind, both get in. And Romeo yet to take shots. Plenty of bullets to make it happen as well, and Regnum Karia is almost inviting those shots their way with the way they're lazily rotating over that hillside.
Regnum Karia on the drive-by. It's a very messy landing trying to get over the bridge, and this is Alter Ego that of course will bite the hand that feeds immediately. Krypton goes in to close the gap, just Toshpik really low on health, easy maneuvers, and you shut them both down. So goodbye Regnum Karia.
Yeah, it's an embarrassing flop on the vehicle.
Yeah.
Getting that across the shallows as well, usually it's fairly simple to do. I think they want to stop off over towards the bridge, but I think in that scenario, most teams have got these areas locked down. It's not the easiest game to play out, but we head up towards that northeast side, and suddenly things get a little bit more difficult, a little bit more interesting. Ruins being a big feature in this one, but Thundertalks having this compound on the north side of it can cut out a lot of teams that want to come through on that western edge. DRX is going to struggle as they wrap around that high ground over towards Ida, who will have those nice sight lines. I'm more surprised by the fact that Scarface, as well as Ketch, have been able to live this long on Fireflux, just on 2 players. I think that's fantastic work from them.
Falcons have been biding their time. Saw an opportunity here to attempt to engage from underneath the bridge with the nades, cast that one out, not directly on target. Romeo as well, nipped out by the zone.
चलो जी मैंने सामा साहब इंट्रो दो
इंट्रो मैच चल रहा है, ये फाइट चल रही है, फाइट पे तो फोकस करो। फैल्कन वास्ते बहुत
मतलब सब लाइव
डबल एफ दे लग गए।
Ketch should be running into Reefus from APG soon. The rest of the team's a little bit further over towards his northeast, trying to hold out versus.
याद आ रहे हैं ना इतने कैमरा चलाने आपने,
As well as the
लेकिन ये नहीं
याद आ रहे हैं।
कौन ही मुश्किल है,
कौन ही मुश्किल, स्ट्रीम पे आवाज जान दो। वो फैल्कन लग गई है फाइट।
This could go even worse quite quickly. They're attempting to pick up the pieces. Doxy goes down, but Navallo responding. But look how low he is. DBS in the hands of Binny as well.
बीनी जेड़ा ना शॉटगन मेरे हाथ दी चलांदा है वधिया।
Shot is all that's required.
बीनी जेड़ा ना शॉटगन मेरे हाथ।
Seeing if he can swing round, dips behind the vehicle as well, shutting down Team Secret in the meantime.
आवाज क्यों रिपीट हो रही है?
स्ट्रीम लगी है ना अपनी,
तो बंद करो ना स्ट्रीम अपनी।
What a performance so far from Navallo. The rest of the team did not find the same.
टीम में भी रिपीट होएगी।
It's like one of those scenarios where
the
Falcons would make a more aggressive push over towards the bridge and over towards Thundertalks. Yes, there's an opportunity to push through here, but it's likely that Nongshim Red Force is holding these angles.
नेट बड़ा स्लो है यार।
It's not the squad from Nongshim Red Force which is able to tear you apart. There's a little bit of a limp approach from the Falcons.
गाइस हमारे ये को-कास्टर जो हैं वो मैंगो खाने लगे हैं।
A big old split coming through from Alter Ego.
वो कहते हैं कि सही काट के देना मुझे।
मैं लेस खा रहा हूँ।
Boys placed them in Dark Horse territory, but I think me and you are kind of clear in favor of Alter Ego.
स्नैक्स भी लाइव आया होगा गाइस, स्नैक्स। अरे भाई स्नैक्स भी लाइव।
My only counter to that is that I still think they would have done great even on the games where maybe they didn't deserve to get all the points in the world because it was off the back of team mistakes, but I still think that it would have got great placements, great points in those games regardless, just because of the way they played them.
I think it's been very heads up PUBG Mobile from them. Super cerebral
ये
game.
लाली है तो आ जा रही है।
क्या चल रहा
A
है?
lot more
किसकी फाइट चल रही है
positives,
आपकी
really
स्क्रीन पे?
negatives to highlight whatsoever. Krypton here as well, even being able to snatch
Why can't I?
and there, so Navallo goes down 4 Falcons.
बहुत कट कर रहा है
He's still
यमी।
two solos, actually the free solos alive. Easy's still inside
ओए
the shed.
कितनी फाइट चल रही है टॉट स्क्रीन पे
Kind of the secret agent in the back line of Alter Ego.
फाइट चल रही है फैल्कन है
Spotting out onto Reefus on the drive up. Couldn't get himself behind any hard cover,
मेरे
so he
एपीजी
falls.
और एईए की फाइट चल रही है स्ट्रीम अलग
और
अलग
ये
चल रही है ओ मेरी शकूरा ने नॉक किया
तू कैसी स्ट्रीम तक रहे हैं अपनी अपनी स्ट्रीम तक ना पे
नो गाइस I'm watching Urdu.
Okay.
The Alpha gets too much further into this game. Easy's been able to get the backstab onto Rosemary. This is what he was waiting for so long. You kind of forgot he was there, and you paid the come upwards because of it. Even more damage from Easy, actually. That's onto Thundertalks.
बड़ा रामीला है
Dolo for power, still being able to steal away some additional points is actually huge.
I mean, finally gets taken down, but what a run from them. 9 Elins on the match.
बल्कि
That's a
watching
good
कितनी आ रही है?
result. That's a great result. I don't know if
Watching आ रही है एक दी watching आ रही है 3 views हो गए ना
but even so it would have just been the 1 point anyway.
Watching
that does
like
drop
watching.
Ulrigo from a 4-man
Quick
down
league
to
से share करो
3 and you're losing your main man Mr. Rosemary. Not always easy. And then again, Alva as well as Krypton have been having a big step up. It is not just the Rosemary show anymore. There's plenty more to this team.
Might actually be a good storyline for us in the booth and the viewers at home as well, because that's something we've been trying to hammer home, right? How important Alva's been for this.
ओ नजम के पीछे से क्रिप्टो की
This is the
आवाज
sort
आई
of game
वाओ
where this trio
अमेजिंग
can prove, just like Rosemary said, it's not just me, it's the entire squad. We play off each other very well. Yes,
We
when things go wrong, we can still pivot. Crazy maneuvers from Easy there before he's taken out.
यस फॉरवर्ड गार्ड एलिमिनेटेड
And Thundertalks.
बड़ी मजेदार फाइट चल रही है उन ईए वर्सेस अल्टर ईगो
The odd point here and there. 4 players alive for that squad as well, Blank. Could be a big talking point later.
जो ये फाइट जीतेगा वो इस वक्त जो है अपना पहला पायदान सिक्योर करने में सेफ रहेगा
Not a team we've got our eyes glued to. The more they've played, the more they've had these moments of success here and there.
ये जंग है पहले पायदान की
Whether they're a team that could challenge out for the first place spot, or they're a team that's towards middle of the pack, because some plays are great, other plays not so much.
हमारी फुल सपोर्ट है 40 को
I would say
जो इस टाइम मैच में एलिमिनेट हो चुकी है
about E-Arena, but there has been these good games, there has been some strong sweeps, and they're not a team that I think you could completely dismiss.
कोई बंदा उर्दू की
For me,
चैट पे लिख रहा है 40 फिनिश हो गई है लुंडियन की एमकेसी ये हमारे नजम भाई बताएंगे
MKC
It's a smart one though. Are you playing in front of
माँ
them
की
because
चुमी
you're assuming they're going to be sending those nades over the top of it anyway because they think you're hiding behind there. If they peeked up, they
Indian
would
की
have
माँ
found
की
a clear and
चूड़ी
easy shot over towards Krypton.
नहीं माँ की चुमी
Pays off here. Now they get the northeast shift on the circle.
कोई बता दे 40 के आज कितने मैचेस हैं 40 के आज 2 मैचेस हैं उर्दू में जो चैट है ना भाई सारे पार्टी क्लासिक प्लेयर्स इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं वेरी फनी शिबान खान राइट साइड पर देखो
भाई मुझे ये था इसका भी फैन होगा
ओह शिट ए डाउन टू 1 मैन देखना होगा हमें रोज़मेरी जिंदा है कि नहीं ओ भाई एक बहुत बेहतरीन आइडिया ला चुके हैं और तो चैट के अंदर जिनका नाम जीजीके है वो कह रहे हैं ये क्या कर रही है Oh, भाई आप जाके खेल लें मरहान कहते हैं जी आप ये दुआ करो टॉप की टीम जल्दी जल्दी खत्म हो टॉप टीम का एक खराब मैच 40 के लिए आसानी थैंक यू मरहान आपने बहुत अच्छा मशवरा दिया है
नहीं माहौल पूरा
ओ एक बंदे ने तो 4E को चैंपियंस बना दिया वो कौन सी टीम 4E तो कुछ है ही नहीं
And that reset you were talking about does hamper them. Yes, Krypton was in position. The rest of Alter Ego weren't quite there to take shots.
Krypton ने नॉक मिस कर दिया जी
And that was the prime time.
Where is Rosemary? ओ रोज़मेरी तो मार चुके हैं क्रिप्टो किधर है
क्रिप्टोन बोला भाई
भाई पहन लिया इनके पास
है पीछे टंगा हुआ फैन
फैन को नहीं मारा।
ए के अलवा आगे बढ़ते हुए और डॉग को फिनिश कर दिया। डॉग एलिमिनेट हो गए हैं इस मैच में। अभी इस वक्त पहले पायदान के लिए दो टीमें जो हैं आपस में फाइट करेंगी। देखते हैं पहला पायदान किसको मिलेगा। अलवी का एंगल बहुत अच्छा है, आई मीन अलवा का एक ऑफ एंगल क्रिएट किया है उन्होंने। क्रिप्टोन के लिए थोड़ी मुश्किलात का सामना है क्योंकि क्रिप्टोन की जो पोजीशन है ना वो एक ऐसा पत्थर है जो ग्रेनेड हो गया ना। अच्छा ग्रेनेड था लेकिन थोड़ा ओवर कुक करना चाहिए था। हीलिंग ही नहीं है, दोनों प्लेयर्स के पास हीलिंग नहीं है, हीलिंग ही नहीं है।
1 HP हो गया ये रीटा
एई का चिकन
आईडिया रीटा 1 HP इस वक्त।
आईडिया के पास हीलिंग ही नहीं है, कोई फायदा नहीं।
दो रेंज लास्ट में शॉट करना।
एई का चिकन है और रोज मैरी जो है बड़े खुश हैं क्योंकि उनका चिकन में 0 डॉल था।
ये ने अपनी ग्रुप स्टेज वाली वो जो परफॉर्मेंस है उसको कायम रखते हुए मोमेंटम को पकड़ रखा है।
वो भाई जो कमेंट में पूछ रहे थे ए क्या कर रही है, आई थिंक तो उनको
40 तो गई भाई,
40 तो गई, कोई ने अभी बता दिया 40 तो गई पहले मैच के बाद। ये हैं पाकिस्तानी, इनकी वजह से हमारे देश में चूतियों की जो तादाद है वो ज्यादा बताई है।
वो
फैक्ट
The power head to head on the hot drop.
मतलब कि 100 के मैच तक से नहीं
साढ़े नाल भी है। नहीं मतलब कि दालू तुर्की 40 ना दालू तुर्की
मतलब कि 40 तक ना मैच किस टाइम में हूं।
स्मैश रूल अवाम पूछ रही है स्मैश रूल क्या है। स्मैश रूल क्या है जी, स्मैश रूल को एक्सप्लेन करें।
स्मैश रूल अब मुझे एग्जैक्टली पता नहीं है कि 128 पॉइंट्स पे लागू होना है कि 120 पॉइंट्स पे। वो जैसे ही लागू होगा मिसाल के तौर पर 40 120 पॉइंट्स कर लेती है 4 मैचेस में, 5 मैचेस में, 6 मैचेस में,
12 मैच के बाद शुरू होता है।
12 मैच के बाद, अच्छा 12 मैच के बाद टोटल 18 मैचेस हैं
जी।
दो तीसरे दिन थर्ड डे पे स्मैश रूल स्टार्ट होगा।
थर्ड डे पे अगर हमारी टीम के 120 पॉइंट्स है और वो चिकन कर लेती है, कोई भी टीम 120 पॉइंट्स के बाद चिकन करती है तो वो चैंपियन हो जाएगी। अगले मैचेस
नहीं होंगे
होंगे
स्मैश रूल है द मैच पॉइंट पर
का कंफर्मेशन नहीं है लेकिन 120 पॉइंट्स के बाद कोई भी टीम चिकन करती है ना
वो है मैच जो स्मैश रूल तब लागू होता है जब 12 मैचेस के बाद जो टॉप 1 पे टीम होती है ना उसके जितने पॉइंट होते हैं उसमें 10 पॉइंट मजीद ऐड करना तो वो हो जाता है मैच पॉइंट और तब रूल लागू हो जाता है स्मैश रूल। फिर उसके बाद कोई भी टीम उतने पॉइंट करके चिकन सबसे पहले लेती है तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली चैंपियन बन जाएगी।
एग्जैक्टली 40 को रैंगल सूट करता है। उन सारे रैंगल घटाई है उन्होंने। अब चिकन है अपना जी।
आपने लाइव स्ट्रीम आपने हब में लाइव स्ट्रीम शेयर कर दी है
गेमिंग हब में
जी उसमें हाँ एसजी गेमिंग हब में जो भी है पार्टनर प्रोग्राम में
मैंने अपने लाइव स्ट्रीम शेयर नहीं की।
कर देना।
I will haters GMKC 3 बार गोबर बख्त इन द चैट। हनी सिंह इस ये क्या हनी सिंह जा दफा होती है गाइस। उर्दू चैट तो जो है काफी इस वक्त अपने पीक पे जा रही है। हनी सिंह का स्पेलिंग भी बड़े अमेजिंग है HANEYSING। हनी सिंह फसली बतेज जैसे ओह चैट बहुत तेजी से जा रही है।
हमारे चौथे कास्टर जो वो किधर हैं, मोहम्मद हारिस साहब किधर हैं?
हारिस साहब जिधर हैं मैं अभी ऑन स्ट्रीम बता नहीं सकता। ऑफ द स्ट्रीम मैं आपको बताऊंगा वो किधर। कैमरा में हमने दिलो थे ऑन कितने के अच्छा नहीं ऑन करना ये मैं चलना एक मैच खेलने फिर आगे करना।
Gua ada prediksi sebelum semuanya terjadi.
इम्पोर्टेंट मैच है।
Kanan. Apa itu? Final
सऊदी लीग का मैच बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है।
Lu nggak bisa ngalahin apa yang lu nggak bisa prediksi. Dan bakal ingat tim kita.
Number one in the groups and now number one to start off the grand finals for PMWC. Alter Ego is operating on another level. Who is going to be able to stop them? It's only one game down in the final, but that's a terrifying statement to make from the word go here, Seven.
It is, and I mean, continuing on the performance that we saw out of them in group stages, being able to control a lot of the circle. Once they felt comfortable, they started doing a 1-1-1-1 split, and that ultimately gave them the lead when it came down to Regnum Karya trying to push in. They had every angle, and it was an easy fight for this squad.
I mean, when you look at Sanhok in particular, Trifecta is just such a key transition point. They controlled it from like the early stages of the game until the very end, and it started with a hot drop against Thundertalk. They fixed it, they go boot camp, and because of that, they have an easy chance to go for the win. 23 points right out of the gate. SEA hit to win it all.
Impressive high ground control, impressive fight against the arena as well to be able to salvage everything after that and then get the 23 points. It's brilliant stuff from them. Following things up as well, Alpha Gaming with 12 points, being able to position themselves after a lot of eliminations, Max, getting themselves in a decent spot to start off the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, big fight happening in Painan versus, I believe it was Team Secret, able to get the squad wipe onto that one. And actually, we were critical about Doc. He kind of saved this game for his team. They got them right into the top three, eliminated most of DRX as they were trying to exit out of Ruins. Are we going to see them be at the bottom of the rankings and Doc MVP like in PMGO? I hope not, but it's so far, it is going that way.
If it's this kind of performance, I mean, I don't hate it from APG. As you mentioned, it came down to Doc being able to clutch up a top 3 situation for this squad. If they continue like that, one thing that I do have to kind of nitpick a little bit, even though it is Sandhawk, is them losing top early. If they would have had a little bit more of those players left alive there towards the end, it would have been a lot better.
Do you know what?
मैच के बीच ब्रेक है जड़ी है 15-20 मिनट रहनी।
Why are you already saying?
Don't.
Do you know what one of my favorite moments
Don't
was
let him
from
talk.
this game? Stop him! It was both of your guys' picks going out
Okay.
straight away in the game. Max, what do you have to say about yourself?
6 मिनट दिए जी,
Who
6
were
मिनट।
alive? So, yeah?
I blinked.
Yeah?
They weren't alive anymore.
That's weird.
That's all I have to say.
How about yourself, Seven, with 4 thrives?
It happens when a team decides to hot drop in the grand finals on day 1 on the first match. 4 thrives. Come on, what are we doing? To be fair, though, they said that after this they don't really have to worry about anything else. But I don't care. 4 thrives. Please stop hot dropping, even if we're only going to be playing Sandhawk twice.
And who was my pick coming into the grand finals? What's wrong, Max? Alter Ego?
I'm annoyed.
Was it actually your pick?
Yeah, of course.
It was his pick. Barney too.
They look crazy good in the group stage, and now they're controlling crazy amounts of space. Anyway, that's by the by. Let's take a look at the highlights from this game as well.
One thing I really liked, actually, we're talking about it a little bit, Seven, during this game, is the rhythm at which Alter Ego play. Not talking about the control on Trifecta, which we already highlighted was phenomenal. Is the way they take engagements that make sense. They take a big fight, they maybe take a few knocks, full reset, bring everyone back up, get information, transition to a better position. It's just very by the book, and yet so efficient, so well executed, so snappy. The Alter Ego, I was a little bit scared that what they did in group stage, it would be hard to replicate here in the finals, but they proved us wrong right away in the first game.
The main one comes down to that scouting. I'm really enjoying the scouting that they do, and as you mentioned, just the pacing of their playing style, making sure that they do end up clearing everything. Rosemary, though, to be fair, Rosemary ended up getting caught off guard there by Power, and talking about Power, What an impressive match out of this team too, winning that hot drop.
Yeah, very important, all things considered. It might make 4Thrives now think twice about that. They've still got 2 more Sandhogs to play here, Max, so maybe not coming back in those next 2 Sandhogs.
Look, you maybe don't want to ruin your Sandhogs when Alter Ego already created a big lead.
Yeah, that's
you know what? Because it's not about you need to be top 8 to be in a good position. You need to win it all, and you're not going to do so by hot dropping on one map.
Yeah, the thing is if one member of Power isn't there, I think Alter Ego wins this even harder. They've got Rosemary and Moana just waiting for that Thunder Talk kind of rotate around on the left. What am I doing? I'm supposed to be the desk host. Go on, talk, Seven.
Good. I think, what was it? It was like 13 eliminations. I'm with you. If they would have kept Rosemary, they would have been so much more aggressive, because what we have seen this team do, which is just gain all of that control. They would have been willing to take those fights, and even at the end, when we saw them having to just slow down and get a reset, it would have been a lot faster.
Yeah, I kind of want to steal a point that you were talking about earlier, Kalaris, during the game. It's actually, they're very good at knowing the weaknesses of their position. Thunder Talk up northwest, they were trying to wrap around. They instantly understood, okay, this is our weak point. We are going to get wrapped around. They set up a little bit of a defense. Power, as we said, that one solo player does kind of ruin it for them. They do lose Rosemary. But Thunder Talk, if they don't take care of that main threat at that point, chances are they don't win that match. So they're very, very good at just understanding what is going to be the issue in matches when it comes to taking wins.
That said, I do have a lot of hope for our Korean overlords, as I normally do in these tournaments, boys. And take a look at Nongshim Red Force going up against DRX as well. 2 teams that could do a lot here, but DRX in the distance, dodging bullets left, right, and center, then being able to shut down Nongshim Red Force. There's cool moments all over the place from this game 7.
There was. I mean, you have Narvalo being able to clutch up for Team Falcons too. That was a pleasant surprise. Remember last time I was talking about him, it was just getting eliminated too early on for his team. So it's good to see it now, being able to see the evolution of Narvalo. But I gotta call out 3 teams, actually 2 teams. It has to be Nongshim Red Force and Fireflux. Nongshim Red Force, I'm gonna give you a bit of a slight one, because you did have a lot of the area. You had a circle that was kind of blessing you, but these 2 teams just play a little bit too passive for what the lobby's currently showing us.
Let's check in with our teams coming into Erangel. Erangel is an unbelievably important battleground here, and 4Thrives alongside Alter Ego have been able to truly thrive on this battleground, Max, but who's going to be able to do it?
If you're able to get these point averages we've seen in the survival and the league stage, right, coming in from 4Thrives, Alter Ego, if you're getting around like 6 elims, 7 elims average on every Erangel, that again, you're playing this battleground 3 times per day, you're going to start creating an even bigger lead. And the fact that Alter Ego start with a win, and they are our Erangel top fragger, bro, they're scary right out of the gate here.
Yeah, definitely. With 50% of the maps being, of course, Erangel here, you need to be performing on the grassy pastures.
Well, I mean, for 4Thrives, as I was saying, okay, you know what? Let's get out of the way with Sandhog. You got that hot drop. Hopefully, you'll be able to learn for tomorrow. But now, going into Erangel, all their wins came in Erangel. Whenever we were in group stages, they ended up with, what was it, top 3, 4 times out of 6 matches that we played this. So they need to make sure they take full advantage here of Erangel.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll be able to make it happen. Again, as you said, Kalaris, 50% of your matches are on this battleground, on the grassy pastures. You want to try and have some good time over there, and if any teams can be making it, all the top fraggers we just saw on that graphic could be the ones to make it happen.
Definitely. I expect we'll see a bounce back from 4Thrives. They're not going to go lying down. But of course, over in-game right now, you guys can get your hands on the PUBG Mobile Airdrop Carnival, and it's now live. Don't miss the final 3 days this weekend. Log in to summon your airdrop surprise and collect 2025 airdrop vouchers from your chance to win official merch, smartphones, BD partner rewards, permanent in-game items, and more. Every participant is guaranteed to win rewards. Come and join the airdrop carnival and unbox your surprise. Any surprises you may think of here, 7, coming into Erangel?
That I can think of right away? No, none. I just want to see some of those teams that I ended
Match
up
number
being a
2
little
start
bit more
होने लगा
aggressive.
guys.
Especially even if they do end up in a position where they maybe are blessed by the
यार
skill,
की
I
हो
want to
गया
see them
यार
being a little bit more proactive, try to get those points, try to get those
यार
eliminations.
वहाँ पे
Yeah, I
10
mean,
देने
one
थे
team I'm going to be looking at, especially this game, is going to be Regnum Karia. They drop in Rozok. There's no contention. There's no hot drop happening over there. They did have a really rough circle this time around on Sanok, but Erangel is by far their best battleground. If there's any time Regnum Karia need to step up, it's right here, right now.
And for the Regnum Karia, it's going to have to come down to just being able to rotate a little bit faster. We were talking about it during that last match, Max. We're
क्या
saying
लगता है
they're rotating
guys?
way too slow. It's going to end up hurting them. Guess what? Alter Ego was already set up. And when you have teams playing like how Alter Ego is, being able to control such a big area, if you're going to end up rotating late and not being able to scout, you're just pretty much going to get eliminated.
Of course, you guys over at home as well can not only be watching the stream that's going on here, but make sure to have the map feed open too. Live, because obviously that is going to give you huge information regarding how these teams are
Yeah,
going
the match
to
40
rotate, how they're
inshallah.
moving. And speaking of that, I paid very close attention whilst I was kind of analyzing the game.
Prediction भी यही prediction ही कर दी ये match और finals 40 के.
Military Island is not the easiest of things you have to do in this game, Maxpan. And sometimes it was by hovercraft, sometimes it's by cars across roads and things like that. So for them, there is always that potential challenge that you've got to deal with when coming from military.
Unlike in the survival stage, 4 Thrives are here. Western Bridge occupied. Alpha Gaming back in the lobby, dropping in the military. Novo also going to be possibly occupied. I think there was even a potential hot drop happening over there. This is going to be turned up to 11 into hard mode, and we know that this is a team that surprised us. Can they surprise us when they are going to have a real tough time simply surviving on Military Island?
If there was a team that I would expect them to be able to get out of Military Island, will be Yango and Galacticos. I agree. They've been able to show it over and over again. They've been able to adjust. Yeah, even now that 4 Thrives is here and they're more than likely going to just be controlling that Western Bridge. We have seen Yango Galacticos realize that and be willing to just take some damage from the blue zone, go all the way around into the Eastern Bridge, and even if they end up rotating late, it works out for them.
It does work out, but I'm just scared.
The
bridge is quite passive. They allow teams to move in if it doesn't give them a big advantage in the circle early on. My main issue is going to be when APG and 4 Thrive, APG and Yangon Galacticos try to rotate at the same time, and you're going to have this big bottleneck situation. That is really
start
what causes to lose a lot of players in the early game.
Here is a third-party opportunity for Yangon Galacticos.
And that's kind of scary. Just a really good. Anyway, let's by the by. It's time. The grassy pastures, Erangel, game number 2 of the day here for the grand finals.
Bismillah.
Impeccable timing from the audience there, and overall, Blank, you can see it's starting to fill out right. You've got fans, you've got family, you've got support staff, everyone in the arena ready for the anticipation that's going to continue to build as we make our way through these playoff games. And I tell you what, Blank, I'm going to throw it into the mix right now.
इसमें हमारा drop flash भी नहीं है.
Take back-to-back chicken dinners.
जल्दी मरेंगे भी
You
नहीं.
think so?
100%.
Straight on Erangel with another alter ego win, huh? I mean, to be fair, yep, all the support staff are here, the fans are out in force. Al-Haji's father is here cheering him on as well.
Oh dear.
Pressure, you know?
Oh yeah, the legend himself in the crowd.
My dad was there, I'd be worried. I'd do a better cast. But yeah, we're heading over towards Erangel for the first time here over at playoffs. Starting up towards Quarry, heading up over towards Stauber. Very neat little playing path here for most teams, right? We'll be able to get out slightly early over towards Primos, very Pier, as well as Sosnovka, which gives you a little bit more time to figure out what your movement's going to be from Sosnovka, which is nice, especially if you drop down there.
Back guys, back. Calm on guys.
Prism, a little bit of a longer rotate that you're going to have to make. Time you'll spend inside the plane. I think for most teams, they'll be very happy with this kind of playing path.
You can see how the standings are looking as well, of course, off the back of that opening game of the playoffs here. For Power, it was a very impressive hot drop targeted one of the teams that everyone's had their eyes on, and that was 4
WVG का drop देखो.
In the group stage. Is there going to be a bit of back for blood gameplay on that one? That's what I'm curious about. Are they going to have this revenge moment? You don't want to have 2 games of slow starts. That's a squad that needs to build.
APG currently parachuting over the top of 4 Thrives. 4 Thrives already hit the ground running.
भाई ये देखो ना मिल्टा वाले ब्रिज पे.
This parachute down towards Sosnovka. I think they have to at this point, especially now that 4 Thrives is already starting to get set up. We send over towards the eastern side of the map. Falcons in their beloved Pachinki, as well as Rozok being held by Regnum Kaya, as Maxman was talking about.
WPG के kill लो यार.
Indecision coming through from Regnum Kaya when it comes to Rozok. Finding a better position in Rozok when the circle heads that way. Not sure whether to hold inside or send out. I think that they got hit with a little bit of an unlucky stick a few times on that one. A few times on that one. There certainly can be improvements. We'll wait and see. Keep your eyes on the wheel and the windscreen, please. Instead of just on the map, so if you're driving, get direction from your teammates, possibly.
Yeah, don't dent the Dacia. Keep it clean, Black. Paintwork on that. It's a nice cool blue. Matches the logo.
Yeah, she works out. Works out very well. But everyone in this one all rotating together here for Thunder Talks. Setting down towards
Esports top पे है guys.
which is free right now, so Thunderdogs can play that one out. Alter Ego sending far over towards the Povka right now, which is very much out of the way, but on this kind of circle, it's completely fair. You don't want to send your entire team over towards the Povka, though. You would like some scouts on the outside. Right now, it looks like the entirety of the team is just going up towards the Povka, though. I think they expect that they're going to have time, especially on the plane path being so long over towards the eastern side of the map.
Curious as well. Position 10, Falcons tied points with Weibo, and both Fire Flux as well. How they're going to be looking. Obviously, we saw in their Sandhawk games throughout survival stage, it's far slower pace. It worked for them there. It's going to be a bit different here. Teams that are going to look to try and take the fight to you, not going to get as many freebies. When they crashed into Nongshing Red Force, that's where it all went wrong. Hopefully they can avoid a similar outcome here. Forwards farther up ahead. Regnum Karia, Fireflux, and Power relatively close by.
Also making that move, as you were saying, all in vehicles. They left Rozhok early. They want to pride themselves here, and I think that's fair enough, especially in the first circle. They want to spend too much time in Rozhok. They'd rather get a central position and then know that there is a chance to send back over towards Rozhok later on. So we're not doing any of these shenanigans where we leave two players behind. We send two players up front. They're going to play together. If it means they have to kind of work their way back into Rozhok, dig a tunnel back towards that region of the map, then sure, fair enough. In the meantime, Regnum Kai is just going to try and take a central position, which they know they have priority on right now from the spot that they started in. Like you said, Power in a similar spot. Gondola here for Eren, as he will make the journey back down the mountain. This is over towards Stalber.
This is intense. Eren inside the gondola.
Prediction there to match ki.
It's not intense.
Not as good as
the tournament finals ki.
Kind of, you know, different territory.
Yeah, it's a completely alternate playing field, right?
In
comparable.
Exactly.
Inshallah.
Stop that.
You can tell we're a duo.
Yeah, we can. Jinx padlock. Throw away the key.
I'm glad you saved us.
अभी शांति है बहुत
get a little bit of camera time with DRX here
कोई
as
किसी
well.
को मार नहीं रहा.
Again, you know, they kind of had a rough early rotation where Fireflux were able to take down one player from that team, but they kept it developing. And again, I think there's so much talent for this squad. I'm curious to see how they're going to be looking once we kind of have this day to look back on. Going into day 2, where they are in the standings, what the squads look like. I feel like there is so much talent on this roster for Hyunbin as well. Someone that kind of, you know, has been there, worn the t-shirt, and it's just a short space of time. Meteoric Lights for him. Very, very good talent to watch.
Hyunbin's been very effective across esports in, like you said, the short time he's been here, relative to a lot of the veterans that are in PUBG Mobile. I will say the one thing that is annoying between Nongshim Red Force as well as DRX for our South Korean teams is Tizzy, Zizzy. It's like, come on, guys. Let's get a slightly different naming convention going. Just for my sanity, at least.
Well, at least we've only got one alpha now.
That's true.
आपकी आवाज clear नहीं आ रही.
Fantastic result.
For one of them.
For one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I think, honestly, for Alpha 7, they claimed the name earlier, right? For Alpha Gaming, that felt more like BM, in my opinion.
What, they have the chance to do the funniest thing.
Power Esports के players surprise देने के लिए तैयार बैठे हैं इधर.
It's Alpha Gaming. They've won the second. Wait a minute.
The back-to-back. Oh no, hang on. It's a different team.
A different one.
Yeah.
That would confuse the social media managers.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you that now.
That'd throw you off guard.
Yeah.
Roll the alpha set.
Just joking.
Pull the fast one on you.
Let's not twist the knife too much.
No more BM. Okay.
They've just come off a pretty saddening defeat.
We are
here live from Riyadh.
Zone की तरफ जाते हुए.
Thumping, roaring crowd, which is great to see.
WTP zone की तरफ जाते हुए.
From all instances over the world, which is really sweet as well. Everyone coming out to support their team of choice. So it's been a slow game so far, with just a lot of rotating happening. I think we've lost 0 players. All teams still up and kicking as we head over towards Farmway. Most teams just looking for a more central position on the map. We are moving more and more away from edge gameplay. A lot of teams putting a lot more stock here towards the center, which will change as time goes on, as more and more spots open up around the edge of the map. You'll see teams getting a lot of success off the back of that, and it's crazy they're coming into playoffs, and that is sort of the change we're going to see probably day 2, day 3 if this thing continues, and it really depends which team's going to be able to take advantage of that, because a lot of times, in my opinion, it's teams that have very good sweeping capability. One team in particular that does that very well, Alter Ego.
Oh yeah, and we've seen that as well in their gameplay already. I think it's, again, you know, it just sort of hammers home that point of the fact that this team can do it all. They can pass the baton amongst one another. It was very nicely played. Krypton with the setup, even when Rosemary goes down, the way they're building back into the game, walking away with chicken dinner. And there's a reason, you know, you throw it out there saying, obviously, I think they could take a back-to-back chicken dinner here today. But with the talent they've shown, I think they genuinely could. We'll keep our eye on it. See how it goes over the flow of this one. Nice as well when you brought it up, obviously. Everyone in the crowd, we saw the highlight there and Al Haji's father. That segment of the crowd representing power. If they keep playing like they did, try and build into that, well, there they are in the Elim feed, taking fights to Thunder Talks. You know they're going to be getting loud.
Yeah, Sighting actually does go down straight away to Ragnar, which is a good opener. He does take a fair lick of damage.
PUBG Esports and TT Esports का एक knock किया.
This compound-based gameplay between both teams as the circle did push out towards the western side. And I think it's first time this tournament really seen this area of the map in full over towards Potato Hill and the southern reaches of it. There's a lot of water. It's not as much as you might think, but you've got to consider that edge down towards Sosnovka that's still in is also a playable space. You'd be a bit mad to try and confirm down there at this point in the game. So we are cutting around about 30%, I'd say, out of this map. So it's becoming a little bit more cramped, a little bit more crowded.
Oh,
scary as well. Watching this rotate in Team Secret. Another squad that I think, you know, could be described as preferring to have those passive setups rather than being the one to instigate firefights. You run into the crosshairs of Alter Ego, they are going to take that fight to you. They won't let you get away cleanly. You had a spot in the backline there with Rosemary very quickly jumping out of the driving seat to attempt to set up in cover. Didn't take the fight in the end. Hasn't fired out a few bullets to see if he can get a connection over, but they can still chase on this.
For Alter Ego, they're sort of giving ground here to Team Secret as they get ahead, but it is Krypton who's been able to swipe around, get in front of them. Ida as well as Fireflux are in front. It's an awkward rotate, I'd say, because Horror does control a lot of the space over towards the northern side. Not wanting to pick up that position. Neither are Team Secret. There is potential though to just completely back off this angle, make a very wide wrap over towards side and play there. It is out of bounds in terms of where a lot of the high prio locations are, but it gives you a safe approach into the circle. Alva right now, the hound on the team of Alter Ego, looking to take a sniff over towards Shelter.
You can get a good read on this as well, the placement of the squads round towards that side. You've also got another scout from Emre, who's actually bypassed one another. Inside of the blue is Alva. Jumps out of the vehicle for a second, quick bit of looting. Rosemary in close position there as well. You see it established here on the map screen as we get that next zone coming in.
और दोबारा एक दफा जोन बनने लगा है गाइस देखते हैं इस बार जोन क्या चाहता है
They had the compound that sat on the eastern side of those fields, which means you can comfortably hold out Falcons, but they make this immediate rotate.
Top players की बात कर सकते हैं हम
quickly as well. They understand this spot is extremely important to them.
कोर्ट के पास जोन तो है लेकिन जोन की एज है और इधर टीम आर्ट ईजी और ईए की
Looking to close down on E Arena and leave them nothing to fight back with. It's a nice start. Silas on the hunt, player up on the roof, trying to keep his head down. Clean this out, make sure there's no opportunity for him to stand back all the way with all 4 players still alive once they get the man picked back up there. Ooh, that's not what you want. Butcher maneuvers, but this could be a little bit cheeky. Fireflux going in, hovercraft gameplay from the side though. Macap instantly falls. He's able to hit that one on the crash in.
Fireflux not being able to win this fight is going to be pretty rough for them because this was their game plan for a long time, is to hit up towards this compound. And they've been sent back off this. Good hold coming through from Weibo. Only losing one player in order, but it's not even a flush there. It's just the knock. That's easily resable. So Fireflux is going to have to go play down by the coastal side, which is a comfortable position to be in, because not only is it not in this compound, which is much safer,
और आप सब की बात कर सकते हैं अपने पिछले मैचेस में भी बहुत अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस दी है
they will find the pickup onto him. Side goes down, and now more space can be gained from Alter Ego playing on that edge and sweeping.
जो टीम होरा की फाइट चल रही है.
Alpha charges further forward. Line of sight blocked from the smoke wall that's been deployed from the remaining members of Aura. Alpha's going to be looking for this one on target with the nade. Meanwhile, Rosemary confirming, being able to get that final shot off back towards Sleepy. An exchange of shrapnel, no fear, at least with a little bit of cover to play with. Slightly harder to get those nades in with the smoke shrouding it as well, but he bails now. His teammate falling further back to provide cover.
Keep back in this one. It's a nice bit of high ground that you can use to scout into the future of the game. I'm curious to see how Alter Ego want to play this one out, because it is a bit of a wall in front of them. Ida's playing a nice angle and a nice setup here where they are darting across the road, allowing them to get a lot of information going in towards the future. Take a couple of pot shots here and there. So yeah, definitely curious how Alter Ego want to play this out. I mean, they have just been taking names slowly but surely. Team Secret weren't able to step to them. They made an instant decision to rotate back off, and just trusting in Alpha's calls as well, which is very nice to see. I do want to quickly go back to Regnum Kaya though, because despite that being an immediate rotate, Moment having control over towards the building, that was a very nice take coming through from Regnum Kaya, and that might have just bumped their point scoring up by a fair bit. There is a slight issue with that compound where some of the angles are cut off to you. You don't have all the information in the world, but this is the sort of position that's going to keep you safe for a long time.
I think from a few of the games we've seen from Regnum Kaya as well early on in the day, it feels like sometimes they pull those punches and won't fully commit to play. So it's nice to see, you know, you've committed to an idea that they've been able to make it work.
Yeah.
Just need to keep that consistency going. Confidence good though.
Even that survival stage when Regnum Kaya went for some strong central positions,
देखते हैं बहुत ही इस सिचुएशन में क्या करती है.
ये तो ऊपर में साथ होती है. Drive-by nades as well. A huge amount of damage going through up towards Alpha Gaming. I'm surprised not even a single knock there. I think if they even found one more nade towards that position, it would have been an easy cleanup for them and an easier decision to roll out, cutting out a big threat on the north side.
They are very lucky. They've been able to survive through that. On target nade, like you said, it's impressive. Not a single player crashed into it very easily. Such a sliver of HP between reset with the supplies they have. We saw a little bit of power showing up in the Elim feed once again as well, so still looking to find opportunities to build. But the nade back over, easy knockdown because of it. This is Thunder Talks, it's the last man in Zing.
Still sweeping over the top side, gets a little bit of information, but Fahida wants to take more shots and will finish it off there. Power eliminating
power.
It's funny to me as well though, where for Shinga it's just a case of, it's close. For Easy, probably didn't even know he's in the shack, but just assumed that Easy's in one of these shacks in this game. I have to nade every single shack available because this guy is backstabber.
Oh, hang on a minute. You might have just said the word. It's operative. The roll in from Alter Ego from the top side, finding that shot down range onto Alpha Gaming. They've been in that same position. It's a full confirmation from Rosemary. Quick pick-me-up play as well from Krypton.
Oh, there it is again. I mean, I'd like to see more DPS, but to be fair, he's one of the most skillful players is Sook with that explosive arrow, and it's something new, it's something different, and he finds success out of it. Like we said, it doesn't always pop up too often in the Elim feed, but the amount of space that Weibo gains off of Sook wielding the bow and letting loose some absolute ringers.
Weaponizing the crowd there as well. You could see the excitement. We mentioned it, man. Would we be seeing it in playoffs? Yeah, he doesn't give a damn. Grand stage, important matchups. He'll still be playing to his best, playing his flavor of PUBG Mobile. Final knockout removing them. And like you said, this now presents more opportunities for other teams to move further up. It's not the craziest point disparity in the mid portion there, but you're going to take that if they're not here.
So some very obvious priority compounds here inside this circle, which you can easily spot. If you're watching the map feed, which is available over at PUBG Mobile Esports at YouTube, you'll see that Noxian Red Force currently have the one over towards east, Regnum Kaya playing on the west, and DRX down towards that mass of compounds on that south side. None is direct central, but they all have very, very good use cases into the future. In the meantime, here's 4 Thrives going up against the Falcons. They are backed up against the wall.
क्या ये फाइट जीत पाएगी 40 और नेट बोर्ड एक अच्छा नेट चाहिए एक अच्छा नेट
pulls out the secondary on the Bizone and unloads from the damage from the side.
Knock finish होते हुए.
It's a clean connection. T24 hitting Narvalo even once more. He's going to try and beast up on this, but the Lana will put back in his place, and Redox stays alive. Onto IQ can push further forward, but it is a rough start.
Yeah, slashing swipe coming through here. In the meantime, Alter Ego have had one player knocked, but they are currently taking Yangon to task over towards Potato Hill. Circle move far towards that north side, and it becomes even more of a prime position. Noki sending nades out. Redox certainly proves up there, getting the single nade across. Koa will send one of his own. It needs to be on target, but it's not meant to be. It's
what a nade, Noki. What a nade.
Elims find the knocks, and Falcons
nice.
will be brought low from the western edge.
And they've been wanting to play that slower style into these games. Here though, 4 Thrives take the fight straight to you. Yes, they lose one player, but they can reset from it. Bit of Weibo action going on again here as well, with Fireflux having a real struggle start going into playoffs already. Again, removed from the equation.
Yes, guys. How are you guys?
Loading the mortar strike. Nade after nade on top.
This has been an extremely extended fight. I think we've seen Nox coming
Ida
starts to get involved now over towards Alter Ego. I think they just lost one. Krypton is down.
IQ को knock, IQ को दोबारा knock पड़ चुका है.
Yangon Galacticos down to just the 2 players. 2 players knocked for them.
Alva belly crawling, using the grass and the ridge side to provide him some additional cover. Quick jump spot, seeing if he can get visual contact over the edge, over the smoke. Vahidan as well takes a stray bullet from the side. Nonshin Red Force building into this one.
They just need to pick Krypton back up again. Technically, he is.
Unfortunately, Team DRX की जानिब से नंबर 40 को डाउन टू लास्ट प्लेयर गिर दिया जाएगा. आगे रिवाइवल देना जरूरी है T4 को और नॉकिंग क्या ऐसा कर पाएंगे सोच है.
Damage needed to take Krypton out, and it will be a knockoff towards Alba despite a massive spree coming through the
live stream
towards Yangon.
देखिए यूटिलिटीज का इस्तेमाल किया जाएगा Galacticos की जानिब से right on the body,
on the north side of the map. Very surprising that Yangon comes out of this one with 3 players.
That's the go pistol to push up for them as well. And similarly for Moana, it's time to bail. That fight has gone no way near how they wanted it to go down. Trapped as well as he gets the overall lay of the land with the squads that are close by. He's just got to get his head down, tuck into position. It's either from the sideline that takes shots towards it, opens up an opportunity for Nonshin. Alpha with the nades, rolls it on target. And it is a strike from Reefus.
That is an unreal nade through the trees, through the leaves. Like a dead leaf falling, that will be the final play of Alter Ego out. Incredible stuff there. You don't see those ones every
जिसकी
day.
हम बात कर रहे थे ओपन में जल्दी मार सकती हैं वो अच्छा खेल गई ओपन में भी.
Another team will walk away with a big W on this one as the battle continues. Nice distance firefights here onto 4 Thrives as well. Good aim.
Location on the map, man. Ida currently looking very good from this spot, but we moved away from a lot of the more prominent compounds on the map. Regnum Kaya looking just to finish off those players down on that south side. And Power still running through with 3 players as well, so they're not down and out yet. Noxian Red Force should be able to hold out strong on the south side though, having very, very good buildings to work with going forward. Nades over the top, they do. A little bit of damage coming through from Regnum Kaya.
Most eliminations की बात की जाए तो Team 4 से 2 players
on this one.
Spin out on the burst tire as well because Ida are just firing shots down Rage. You've instantly got to try and reset from this one, but there's further damage done. Knock behind the tree. Quick bandage from Hyunbin looking to reset himself. Easy. Sees that opportunity though. Clean connection. Back onto DRX.
But DRX trying to get through here. Noxian Red Force wasn't going to let it happen. Al-Haji finding Yumbin as well. The back lines there. Very, very long-range spray. Make it work. Make it work, it does.
Nice
There is still
grenade.
one building available for Regnum Kai to be playing out on the very edge of the circle. I'd be excited to see a Yangon podium finish here just because of how hard they had to fight for their lives on the north side.
It's a hefty investment from Power. They really clamored to try and steal away some points from that one. Damage is good onto DRX, but they both go down because of it, resulting in a bit of a stalemate from the crash in, only leaving one representative of Power left. It was Weibo that were able to cause issues behind that smoke wall, and then of course Regnum Kai over compound high ground position as well, but nice split. Silas set up further ahead. Yeah, this is going to get more and more intense. Secret, catching vision.
This is the nice thing about Regnum Kai as well, is that we mentioned it beforehand, where they're a proactive team. They don't allow themselves to be caught up in the moment and just sit around, feet up, watching telly inside these compounds. They are very much active on the outside there. They took shots over towards Alpha Gaming. They cut over towards that south side. It's not a crazy amount of points they're able to find this game in terms of elims, just as 3, but they've confirmed a strong spot on that southwest side. Weibo are in front of them, as you've mentioned. I'd like to see how they're going to handle this into the future, because it's some weird terrain that they'll have to push through.
Yangon, it could be uncomfortable. If Secret can actually get the angle to arc those nades over, roll it down the hillside. Spacing could be problematic. That's what you were talking about, of course. Obviously for Weibo, just a few steps ahead, just tucked in. A little bit of cover to work with at least. You've got the detonated vehicles, and it's actually for Hedon that was the last man left for Powder. So he's just over by the tree line there.
Wow, what a shot coming through for Hedon.
40 down to 1 man हो गई है.
This is what I mean for Regnum Kai. It's very hard because you want to take shots towards Weibo Gaming. As soon as you leave your insight lines of Ida going forwards, that next circle doesn't cut Ida out either. So now Regnum Kai has to go for something very quick. They know the exact location of Alpha Gaming though.
6 elimination points secure कर लिए.
Sort of does feel like you're going to need a crash here for Regnum Kai. Over towards that north side, I don't think it's going to be effective at all trying to wrap out over towards the east.
4 elimination points के साथ hashtag 8 पे जो है eliminate हो चुकी है.
What chances do you have later into the game? That's the real issue. So it looks like they are going to roll out over towards this north side. As I was
Alter Ego की बात करें तो उनके पास 22 पॉइंट्स हो चुके हैं 2 मैच. लीड जो है वो अभी बढ़ना शुरू हो गई है. Alter Ego को रोकना पड़ेगा. Someone has to stop Alter Ego.
What's going on? Goes back in for a second look. Finally shuts down Rita.
That was crazy. Silas moving up top there. We'll find Silas.
आईडी के साथ तो YOLO हो गया.
I mean, Regnum Kai just spent all the way
क्या
towards
आईडी है
Yangon
तो YOLO कर
Galacticos.
पाएगी.
They were doing damage, but they're out
Red
now.
Force को.
What?
टॉप किल निकाल रहे हैं उधर से
for so long. The minute an opportunity was presented from the commotion from between this fight on your screens, they go for it. But Alpha just
Rafus जो हैं वो domination पे आ चुके हैं.
It's now not a bad position for them to build from.
Not at all. I think Alpha
YOLO
Gaming
fight
played a bit
between
of a
ID
final
and NS.
Blinding powder over to Regnum Kai. It would seem.
ID के दो what a grenade, amazing. Perfect cook grenade जो है.
Not quite connecting just yet. There's a Molotov set through.
Oh, YOLO fight. YOLO.
They are just high, trying to hold on as much as possible here. And once again, it is Yangon Galacticos to make it through.
आपको क्या लगता है कौन फाइट जीतेगा?
You got Team Secret
Idea fight हार जाएगी.
playing that classic slow build, playing from distance, looking to third party onto this one. This elongated bout
Team Secret जो है उन्होंने ऊपर से इरादे अपने पुश कर लिए हैं. फाइट तो देखा जाए दोनों टीम्स ही हार गई हैं. दोनों टीम्स डाउन टू 1 मैन आ गई. अपने प्लेयर्स लॉस कर दिए हैं. लेकिन NS ने जो है आईडीए को एलिमिनेट कर दिया.
Very favorable positions going in towards the future. they can effectively sort of ignore one another and rather take shots down towards that south side at teams that will be making their way up this hillside. I think it's going to be tough. Here's Suk with the bow in hand, just sending shots in, making life extremely difficult for Doxy.
YG की बात की जाए वो 3 लाइफ में और 6 लेके जा चुकी हैं.
I mean, with 20 arrows left, he could zone you for quite some time. Just make it impossible to go for a peek
और
out.
सुक अपने हथियार के साथ लगे हुए हैं.
Oh, they're getting close.
This consistent bombardment.
इस हथियार की खासियत क्या है? क्या इसका डैमेज ज़्यादा है?
Moving forward, Suk will
Long
see a
range.
nade come his way. A little bit upset about the nades coming down though.
Suk जो है ये इसको वैसे भी बड़ा अच्छा इस्तेमाल करते हैं. तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता डैमेज ज़्यादा है कि
Rifle as he is with the bow. The team will support him there, still make it happen. Awayable attempting to move up, but it's those two angles. Like I said, it's an efficient, I don't want to call it teamwork between both teams, but it's an agreement, right? You both have an extremely strong position. Let's get rid of the teams that could cause problems for us later on before we engage in one-on-one combat.
Yeah, you know to prioritize first. Don't poke the hornet's nest until it's time to engage. Frankie with the move up. Wow. Damage back over. Slapping him there. Forcing him into a bit of a rough spot. 3 squads going head-to-head, of course. And Alpha Gaming only have the one man left alive. That's Reefus that's further down.
This will be the second game in a row that Alpha Gaming have been able to get themselves a podium finish with a solo player towards these end circles. He's going to make a break for it. Murnat definitely saw why he went for that play. I don't think he had much choice in that situation. Murnat had actually pushed off that position as well. It's just unlucky he comes out at that timing. Trang will go down.
Shots back and forth, trades on either side. Intensity building. SayCloud looking for the angle. Murnat from further back, able to assist. They can focus fire on Frankie. He's removed, cauterize it and reset. 2 players alive, focusing on the pickup as well. Grab Romeo.
I mean, just make it as hard as possible. A 3v1. There's absolutely no way that Jaggy should be able to get himself out of this one with Yangon Galacticos starting to move up. And the map is enveloped by space as they suffocate out the rest of the teams from the high ground, picking themselves up a big chicken dinner. Not only against some of the hardest spots in the lobby, like Alter Ego, but Regnum Kai set their way up there earlier, who did get backstabbed by Alpha Gaming, but what can you say about that one? They knew where they were. There were some weird plays this game, but it was terrifying terrain to play around with.
You see the celebration and elation from the team as well. Some nice, solid slaps of the hands. Everyone congratulating one another. The arena starting to get excited as well with the way these games have been going. And yeah, they should be celebrating. They played some great games. Heads-up maneuvers again as well. Some crazy stuff. It's a good point. It's what you bring up, man. Alpha Gaming being able to drag that one out, even that fight onto Regnum Karia. Crazy scenes here, Frank, but the action keeps on going. Join us for more in a couple minutes' time.
Level up your gaming experience with over 8 billion playlists, only on Spotify, the official audio streaming partner for the 2025 Esports World Cup.
40 का दूसरा मैच एवरेज निकल गया है.
Yangon Galacticos blasting off at the speed of light. All the other teams better surrender now or prepare to fight. We have got ourselves Seven and Maxman here to talk about this victory from them, coming in from Potato Hill, looking really cool, looking strong, taking out the previous winners from the previous games. Maxman, Yangon.
I think they're happy they had a very northern plane that was not good for them, because that allowed them to drop into crates and George Bowl and actually get the northern rotate into the circle. And actually, there were very little teams going up in that northern position. We did have Ultrigo eventually try and clash on Potato Hill itself, but the nades from Say Cloud in particular were key to claim all of Potato Hill for themselves and take the win at the end.
One of the slowest teams to rotate as well. They took their sweet time. I think at one point it was Circle 3. All the teams were just focusing on that center area, and Yangon Galacticos were the ones towards the north. I really enjoyed how they were able to surprise Alter Ego. Alter Ego was not expecting the team to be able to come up from behind them. And then, I mean, for Yangon Galacticos, I think they were waiting in Potato Hill. You were saying during that break too, while we were watching the game, they just waited for so long.
That's the scary thing about Potato Hill, right? Like, you can have multiple teams exist up there and them also have very decent defensive positions as well. So for Yangon, they took that fight perfectly against Alter Ego, who was going to be a huge threat. And then Team Secret moves in later on here, Max.
I mean, actually looking at Team Secret, they also had a really good match this time around. 11 points on the board. Again, a normally pretty silent team, but they were going quite aggressive here versus Yangon Galacticos, trying to push uphill, Potato Hill, claim all of the northeastern edge, and also keeping teams down low, such as Weibo, away from the fight. So actually, Team Secret, they showed me a little bit more than what we saw back in the group stage, which sets up a very good precedent here for the finals.
Yeah, for Team Secret, I would have actually loved them to commit to that fight against Yangon Galacticos, even though they were being able to control in Potato Hill. I don't know if you agree or disagree with me on this one, but ultimately, they were going to have to take that fight at one point or another.
I'm scared that if they take the fight onto Yangon Galacticos a little bit earlier, teams such as maybe Weibo can just full send it and third party that fight and just wrap up the chicken dinner. I do get why they were delaying it, but the more you delay it, the bigger advantage you're giving to Yangon, and then you just cannot win that fight anymore.
That says, whilst we took a look at the points, Alpha Gaming once again being able to get into some of the later stages of this match here, Seven.
It came down to what they were able to do with the 4 vehicles. They had 4 vehicles being able to just create a big barrier, and on top of that, for this team, they kept getting blessed by the circle. They really didn't have to do much. They were able to just hold off a lot of people, and that's the scariest thing with this team. We know they have the fragging power. We know if they set themselves in a position where they actually have the full squad, they're going to be super scary, and they were able to showcase it perfectly in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, if they're able to survive a little bit more like that every single match, that one big chicken dinner could set them apart from the rest of the lobby.
That's Yangon wall-to-wall for our match report here. Not too much surprise considering the space that they were able to control. Say Cloud, as you were mentioning before, Max, looking fantastic in this game.
Yeah, I mean, almost 1.4k damage right there. He is very high in that one angle.
I didn't make a noise.
Yeah, do the noise.
Wow! There you go.
I missed that.
I mean,
actually,
it's been actually
worth it.
Over a year since I've been able to make a noise. So there you go.
It's been so long.
I know.
Next is going to be a jingle. We got to figure out a jingle.
I'll figure out a jingle. Don't you worry. I don't know who for.
I thought it was going to be on the spot. Man,
that would have been insane.
Look, we're seeing some replays actually of the Car 4 here from Alpha Gaming, and we don't have hovercraft. We've got hovercraft at home. It's just a 4-car fortress created on the edge of Potato Hill, and it was really good to get them in that podium finish at the end. The Nongshim Red Force, I think that was a team that you and me both wanted to talk about here, actually, Seven. Their breach onto Ida's Harry Potter Tower, I like the idea going for the breach, but it took so long to wrap up that fight. Big third parties from Weibo in particular did come through at the end.
That's the thing right there. I was talking about this too, the Fireflux and Nongshim Red Force, especially with Nongshim Red Force. I was talking about how this team just tends to play so slow that they might not be used to just making those quick pushes, and I felt like it showcased perfectly in that scenario right there. And then on top of that, for Fireflux, they were also trying to do a crash on WBG. They seemed like they got ahead too. They ended up getting a knock, but they were just too slow to react and ends up backing away. For this teams, they got to be able to adjust on how aggressive the lobby is.
I think Nongshim was happy to gamble on that compound, right? Because if it does go to that compound, the circle, then it's so hard for these teams to push into that. So they were also thinking about where they were going to transition and how they were going to transition, Max. It's just, it gets dicey trying to go up to the Wizard Tower, trying to do something there and keep yourself going in the later stages.
You cannot say the Nongshim don't know the terrain. They know in that specific circle, that compound with the 3 buildings is just exceptionally strong and able to defend it quite well until the very end of the game. Then they do have to go onto the Harry Potter Tower. Though if we go on teams that try and crash on those positions, I kind of want to pivot the conversation over to Power.
Sure.
I think we're very indecisive They had two options. Maybe you fight Regnum Karya, maybe you fight the side of Nongshim Red Force. They decide to send it in the center between those two teams, and unfortunately because of that, they just don't survive at all in the later stage. I think at that point, you pick a compound, you breach it, and you just hope for the best.
There's, of course, Al-Hajj's dad as Power, as you mentioned in. It was kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation, Seven, right? Like, even if they choose another option that isn't that kind of road through the middle of those compounds, it's still going to be very difficult to make those crashes happen, but maybe it could have yielded more points.
It is. I feel like they would have just gone for the crash. At least you're not going to have so many teams looking at you. You're not going to be letting yourself open for so many third parties for this team. And the only thing is, like, we're able to kind of say this in hindsight, right? We're seeing everything that's going on. But for them, if they would have been able to make that crash with the firepower that they've been able to showcase in the previous stage, in survival stage, I feel like they might have been able to edge them out.
Look, it's all you go for a compound crash, or you're in between Regnum Karya, Nongshim Red Force, and Sook, where the explosive bow is going to keep you at bay. I would take my chances on a compound crash.
I have a bone to pick with Sook and the explosive bow, because you and I have been talking about this for the longest time. I really enjoy it. But one thing that Sook needs to be able to do is make sure that he doesn't get tunnel vision. And I feel like that's exactly what was happening there in that scenario. He was just super tunnel vision, and then whenever he actually decided to go away from the explosive bow, he lost the focus, and the Nongshim Red Force guy was able to knock him.
Yeah, there was only so much you can do with that explosive bow, right? Like, he was just saying, okay, I don't know exactly where you are at that wizard tower, so I'm just going to spam into it. And as you said, that really has your full focus, your full attention, and then you just get knocked from the other side. It's problematic, for sure.
I don't hate it. That's the thing. I don't hate it. I just wish that he wouldn't be so just over-focused on it. And it was good suppression, but the team wasn't able to get angles on the guy because they just had so much smokes.
Oh, wait. Is that for today only?
3,000 damage from Al-Hajj. There's no way.
No.
They have this many eliminations?
I mean, they fought 4 thrives on the first game, right, going into Sanhok, and that survival time is very low. Okay. What is that?
We'll have to
Anyway, moving on. Yeah, for sure. I mean, they could have tried to do something down towards the bottom. A little bit different. Not going to be the way for Power here, though. Beyond all of that, though, Max,
I have a team.
Please.
We want to talk about here.
Yes.
We're going to talk about 4 thrives, okay?
Yes.
4 thrives.
Right.
We had the hot drop in the first game. This time around, we talked about how indecisive they were. For me, this game, they weren't indecisive. They actually made a really good call trying to surround Falcons on the western side. They just got a little bit too excited about that fight, a little bit too involved, and they just wanted to rush it, and that caused their demise at the end versus Falcons.
And I feel like from that indecisiveness that we've been talking about during group stages, maybe that's why they became so impatient, because they're trying to change that, and I'm hoping that they don't end up overdoing it.
All right, well, let's get to it then. Let's see if all of these teams can put those learnings into practice for our second Erangel of the day.
Halfway point of the day, game 3 already. Some trials and tribulations for teams that were looking very dominant back in the group stage. Some good head-to-heads and some interesting PUBG Mobile up to this point blank. We've seen the crowd getting excited, rooting for their hometown heroes, seeing who's going to be able to walk away at the top of the standings today. Intense action, and you'd imagine a lot more of that to continue right here, right now.
A lot very amazing usage of the map and the terrain in general. Overall, I think it's a great point to pick up on there as well, where it is just a case of, even in those tough scenarios, a lot of teams know the best areas to play, how they want to move out. I think the big mistake from that last game was definitely Regnum Karya's push over towards that north side. I think that realistically they had to remove Alpha Gaming. And it was also quite frustrating to me because you know that when they made that pass in the vehicle and sent that nade through, they would have seen 70, 80 damage numbers coming up on the screen, but over 3 players. And at that point, I think I would have liked for them to go for a bit more of a Hail Mary on it, really. Something very aggressive. If they'd removed Alpha Gaming, I think that their late game would have been very, very different.
Yeah, I felt like they were setting themselves up for a ton of success there. It was good timing on the call to actually commit to it as well, but that 5 versus Alpha completely turned the script. The difference, if you even cast your mind further back, the drive-by nade on the scout, all of them left on what, sub sort of 12 HP, really. You could have converted on that. 1 knock probably would have been the go pistol for them, but ifs and or buts won't win you championships.
It's like I'm saying, they saw 370 hit markers. It's like, yeah, you should have probably went on that one. And I think you're right in the sense of maybe they would have done if they'd seen a knock.
Yeah.
There were only 2, but I think that scenario is you just have to take a chance. And I think for Regnum Karya, that's what is difficult for them, is that it is very obvious to me right now, it's very obvious to me right now that they're trying for a little bit more aggressive plays, more aggressive maneuvers, but there they were falling back into old habits.
No, they definitely were. They definitely were. Man, let's see. Maybe you can reset from it blank. They'll be able to get themselves into a better position to show us what they're made of and what they're capable of. For Yangon, they were certainly capable of greatness into that previous game, casting a shadow over the lobby. Out here up against Thunder Talks early on the drop. Bit of room to work with those. They could avoid the fight if they want to.
We're going to head down towards Sosnovka as well to start things off. So a lot of teams will need to get a move on. Power already heading out over that bridge, crossing it over towards Yangon and Thunder Talks, who are currently in close contention at the moment. See how that fight does pan out between those two teams. Yangon Galacticos obviously coming off from a big high from that last game. We'll see if that momentum does bleed through. Power Esports going to send even higher to the heights from last game.
It's been some good signs from Power as well. You know, individually, I think the gun skill's certainly there today, playing to their strengths. Not in a bad spot whatsoever. Tied at the minute. Ooh. This is back over towards our drop fight that we were mentioning, of course. Thunder Talks out with the Tommy, teaching you lessons from distance. Where art thou, Romeo?
I think he should have just kept crawling. I get a moment of, if I stop crawling, maybe he'll miss the shots. Maybe I need to like fake him out a little bit. Instead, just made it extremely easy to line up that shot. Still impressive with the Tommy as well to hit at that distance. Ulrigo aren't done yet either as they pick up an initial knock over towards Fireflux, which is one of their most difficult rotation contenders, right? Where Ulrigo need to come out from the Povka. I like that they send a player out early in Rosemary, I believe it is, who is a player that you would desperately want in your front line. It's Krypton, in fact, that sent out first, who has been stepping up right to the plate. So it's nice to see him get an initial knock, and that's going to make that rotation down towards the south much easier playing against a 3-man squad. That changes their rotation. It changes their plan on this entire map.
Scary as well for Fireflux as a roster overall, because I think that squad, you know, we were sort of talking about this idea of being able to build your confidence, feed the hot hand, keep that momentum going. They've been hitting dead stops again and again, where it feels like, you know, the floor falls out from underneath them. They're not able to build themselves, not getting too late into these games, and that could come back to haunt them. Oh, you're just bullying on the exit as well. They're literally trying to retreat from this, and you still find a second knock into a full takedown on SayCloud. Wow, that's a bit of a rough start, considering you've just taken your opening chicken dinner.
Yeah, King living up to the name of the weapon used there. Doing a nasty mark over towards Yangon Galacticos with the scar. There's that shot from... Oh, it was Rosemary, I wasn't wrong. Seeing things. But yeah, so nice play from Rosemary there. Able to find the initial player coming through from Fireflux. And as Yangon Galacticos tried to escape, it's no secret that that kind of rotation is not going to go unpunished.
Felt rough to watch that one. Kind of uncomfortable, really.
With the tree line now, and Xeris is going to send forward. It's a straight shot over towards him. Murnat likely to go out, and Yangon Galacticos, after what was an incredible performance last Erangel, do end up going out in 16th here in our second Erangel of the day. That could have been a moment to put up more points and add a bit of a buffer up towards the top side of the tables. Instead, it's all for naught here.
If you're one of these squads as well that are only a few points behind, your eyes are now going to light up. That's a prime opportunity, right, where you're thinking, okay, tied with Alpha, both having 23 points. You get no elims from that, no placements. We can start to lap you. We can start to climb further up that ladder. And at the halfway point of day one, only 3 days of intense competition here for playoffs, you have to grab the ball by the horns. You can't afford to leave it up to another team to decide your fate for you. So this is what we're going to see some of these squads start to reinvigorate themselves. Potentially even the team that's on your screens now, right? 4 Thrives. A lot of debate, a lot of talk about this squad, how they're going to be looking. Amazing in the group stage. What plays can they make right here, right now?
Yeah, there has to be a big refresh coming through from 4 Thrives, because these last 2 games have felt hectic. And even now it feels like you could sense the pressure that is on 4 Thrives. They send away from this position. They might have wanted to challenge for it. They realize players are there, so they're going to look for something a bit more open for them. There's no way! Okay, I thought he hit him on the barrel roll. I mean, that's still impressive to get it out there and still make that shot happen, but if he'd hit him on the barrel roll, that would have probably been the play of the year so far. But for Thrives, yeah, they're looking for a more open area on the map. They're going to head over towards Airstrip to make that one work. For Alter Ego, though, this is an important game for them, in my opinion. Setting that marker really high early on in the tournament, super important, because with Smash ruling, day 1, day 2 become a bit of a sprint to get towards that top side and at least get as close as possible to first place or be in first place to open up match point on day 3.
It would be the dream scenario for them. Lower the lobby with the paranoia that will set in when Smash comes to play, but right now it's Koa that's on screen. Barrage of bullets goes out on the drive-by. DRX trapped in position here, bit of chip damage onto 2 players, trying to take some shots back, make it uneasy for them to just hold, locked in position on these angles.
I'm surprised QZZ actually got through there.
Yeah.
He was snaking it a little bit, but the shot didn't seem too hard to hit, and I think that he was playing so wobbly that it caught even Falcons off balance there. Now they have to send back over towards a more secure location. Can't afford to hold up DRX for much longer. They're going to all jump in the water and rotate across to their buddy, who is on the north coast, playing around the beachhead. Only a couple of teams still yet to make their way in. It's Ida as well as Regnum Kaya. The upstarts from Turkey versus the Titans. Going head to head here in Rozhok. Both teams will need to leave soon as there's a lot of squads already confirming over towards Sosnovka.
Late aquatic rotate as well for Alter Ego there, keeping themselves distance on the wrap round the back. And like you say, Regan Karin and Ida potentially thrown into a bit of a fist fight where maybe only one of them limps away. Ooh, limited space inside of the zone as well. Large body of water removing play space between these teams.
Horror can just move across, should be able to move across pretty comfortably as well. I don't think this is too treacherous of a path for them. No Indiana Jones style type of traps on that bridge right now as Scarface starts to move over towards the west. So this is a real easy rotate for them. Regnum Kai Ida though, yet less of a ease of access, but they could head over towards the coastal side on Erangel main island, swim across or just send the vehicles in and try and play on that beachhead, which is definitely a possibility, especially as we start to move further north on this circle. Teams could try for that one. DRX had, it's just a surprisingly easy approach. Hardly any clapback coming through from the Falcons.
Vahiden from a distance, able to keep them pinned at bay on their rotate over. Meanwhile, you've seen in the Elim feed that 4 Thrives took the fight straight to Team Secret, forced them out of position, but made it really uncomfortable here. Down to just a solo player, handling them with ease, confirming onto those knocks as well, 1 by 1. So stealing away a couple of elimination points, which for them could be a good start to get them dialed into the actual action. Over from the sideline, that's the final steal onto Team Secret coming out from Thunderdogs.
Yeah, Secret was struggling. Yeah, they really couldn't figure out anywhere to go there. Constantly bumping into teams left, right, and center. And it turns out their over-aggressive push down over towards Yangon Galacticos is the thing to force that final nail in their coffin. Power still hitting some nasty shots over towards Weibo, playing on that coastal side. I mean, that drops Weibo now down to just the 2 players. Don't think they're getting Suk back up again. Al-Haji is going to wait for this fish to resurface.
He knows he's got to come up for air at some point. He can sit pretty and wait to finish that man off. So Power looking to just take away points where possible. He'll just commit to it. Left in the blue, gone for good, down in the deep depths.
Regnum Kai's still in Rozhok. Lost school now, actually. It's crazy on the indecision where they're happy to send straight out when it's around Rozhok area. But when we get Sosnovka finished, they decide that they're going to stick on the northern side of the map for a long time. We'll see how they play this one, because the play area is getting very limited now. Especially even over towards this north side of the map. Grandma's pretty much taken for Fireflux. The small compounds that are available on that side, pretty much going to be playing around the tree line, but potentially over towards the western side, or using that ridge as cover as we do confirm even further over towards the north here. I think we're on zone 3 now, so circle and the blue will start to tickle quite a bit before we head towards stage 4, where it's advisable not to still be in that blue for too long.
You do wonder if that'll be a bit of paralysis by analysis there for Regnum Caria, taking a very slow approach this one. A snail's pace that could come back to bite them in the bottom. We'll see. They're starting to get a bit of a move on now, though, and so are the remaining squads on the periphery of the zone here, slowly advancing further forward. You were fragmented down towards the south side. It was a bit uncomfortable. A bit of a push up now. Alpha Gaming coming over, 4 Thrives in position there as well. Nongshing Red Force feels like they've been really willing to take a good majority of their fights, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sparks starting to fly, especially with this rotate coming in from Ida.
Oh, Nongshing Red Force has a real glint in their eye during these games. An aggressive team, a hunger for team fights. And you're right in the sense that they're a scary team to come up against, because you just never know when they're going to pull that trigger. It might just be you that faces the ire of Nongshing Red Force in the end. Falcons find themselves a nice central position on this circle, though. We'll see what they can get done with it. Usually Falcons can find themselves up towards the late game with 4 players. Tend to do quite well. It's that interim period of getting to around about zone 7, which is very shaky on the side of Falcons. There's some big nerves before they lock in.
Ragnar here priming the nade. Alley-oop over the top. Oh, the bounce on it. Oh, he's been eating nitro for breakfast, blows them away.
That is crazy. Crazy of a nade. The arc on that one as well. Dear me.
You love to see it. The Power fans are going to have their eyes light up at that one. Already 4 eliminations for the squad, topping the charts at the minute in the lobby. In a good position to keep building, especially with Yangon going out early as well. There's room for Power to ebb and flow their way through the standings. Hora turning their attention back round. That's Moana from Alter Ego that takes a knock.
Alter Ego was always going to struggle. They had to play all the way to the eastern side. A lot of other areas were taken. They dropped the smoke over towards Moana. But Rosemary's worried whether this is even worth going for. The res on this starts to back out and allow Rosemary time to crawl back through that smoke. But I think it does feel like a little bit of an abandoned ship here for him. And Sleepy will draw him low and put him back to sleep. Not sure what E-Arena's game plan's been here, but they have taken a nasty punishment on that south side. One player even going down towards the blue there. Get a replay on this one, because this was disgusting. They lined up at the right time, start to turn it, and pretty much as they turn, the nade fumbles through the window.
Very Maxim-esque on the nade. Maxman's going to be loving that one. Thalak getting thrown into the action here as well. It's Alpha Gaming that are taking some serious damage. So 4 Thrives continuing to attempt to build here. Get themselves into a position where they feel handy with their steal. This was always going to be an issue for Alter Ego as well on the rotate. You had Power ahead of you. They go for the wide berth round back through the blue, kick off the engagement.
APG के दोनों निकालते हुए टीम 4 Thrives.
So easy suffering there.
That was unreal. Steps out onto the side seat.
यहाँ पे
We'll find one.
easy
Rosemary
नजर आ
gives
रहे
his
हैं.
life for the rest of the team to get
easy को
further
knockdown
into the
करते हुए.
circle. And Fireflux will take the reins off the back of that fight versus Power. Now down to 3 players, but 5 elims. Not a bad start for them this game. Heading up towards 15 minutes into this one. Solus attempts to hit the shots, but he's off target.
Yeah, bullets just whizzing by. None of them connecting, and the problem is that opens an opportunity for the counterplay from Power. So instantly on target, they respond back over and stop what could have been a hell of a scorer there from Fireflux. Instead, in reality, it's just Ketch. At least he's got some heavy armor to work with, diving inside the hovercraft, but he's got to peace out, got to give up the goose.
Let's leave it alone. That could have been a great third party. It could have been an amazing third party. You're right in terms of the roaming wall in the hovercraft being the biggest boon here for him. Has to wander back and let it explode. This is not the most ideal location for him to end up. There's these shots coming through from earlier. Falak with some fantastic maneuvers. Again, such a precise player.
और यहाँ पे नोकी तीन टीएस के प्लेयर को नॉकडाउन करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
Really nice to watch when he's on form.
Yeah, playing the angle perfectly, like you say, it's the peaks. Really nicely played for him, keeping himself in cover, taking some clean firefights. Ooh, this might be anything but clean. Close quarters engagement. The shot from the side, good for one, but the backstab from Silas at least stops it before it got out of hand. If he was able to find even more damage there, suddenly you're thinking, ooh, this is again another game where Regnum Kari feel like they should be able to build. And again, actually, it's interesting to see how Regnum Kari are going to play this one out. Obviously, it's a far slower game from them. They're in the forefront of it now. That chase has not stopped at all as well. Power going from target to target, everyone running them down. It's Thunder Talks again now, pushing up. They've got angles, but smoke's down to provide some cover for the quick heals.
Good elim count though so far, 7, highest in the lobby. 4th Thrive's just 1 elim behind that. Singh's going to move forward over towards Al-Haji, confirmed towards him. Gets caught underneath the wheel, wrapped up in burnt rubber. As Thunder Talks sent back over towards the rest of the team. Another shift on the circle here. Regnum Kari do need to move out, and you're right, they were laying the brickwork on the south side for a better match here, but it is Nongshim Red Force, Alter Ego, Weibo, all controlling this high ground. It is a very fun circle to end up on. A lot of cheeky maneuvers that are available here.
Vader with the nades. Just slightly off target. But the problem is you've got a few establishing shots that have been fired in from the back as well, with Falcons taking a bit of a scout onto it, trying to spread themselves thinner to keep the pressure on. Ragnar with the spot in the vehicle, quick scout, makes his move back so they can play as a duo still and work off one another. Actually gets the drive-by. The bonnet is enough. That's Thunder Talks losing so much from this.
Goodness me, I mean, Power doing that on their own as well versus Thunder Talks is very impressive. They had that number for such a long time, but we switched mobiles there and are left in the dust. Regnum Kari look to send up. They're heading over towards Ida once again. It feels like these two Turkish teams consistently take tumbles against one another. They're going to send far over towards Alter Ego. Alva as well as Krypton.
Ooh, just nipping the back of the heel for Krypton is enough to shut him down. An instant connection from Silas onto Alva as well. It's a good heads-up play. You're saying, look, they're going to cast round towards Ida. Instead, they avoid that cut, center circle, straight path, shut down a big squad there as well, stop them from stealing away points.
And get a fairly decent position. We know how much Regnum Kari do like their ditches. So, like you say, they do avoid the Turkish tussle over towards the western side and instead confirm on a very central position. Regnum Kari are down in 12th place right now. 4 points total with just the 3 elims on this game. They desperately need a big one here if they want to stay in the conversation over towards the top side of the lobby.
This is for Hedown, finally going for Hedown as he gets finished off by Falak there. Shots to the side.
5 elims for Falak as well. I mean, he is going off this game. It makes sense as well. I mean, he's always been such a strong player on the squad. Ragnar steps up, Falak won't quite find it, but 8 nades.
यहाँ पे फलक नॉक फिनिश निकालते हैं टीम पावर का.
Such an easy lineup as well. Only took 1, still 7 in the back pocket for play late at the crowd enjoying that one.
और ये फलक नेट हुक करते हुए.
And his brother in arms finished off. Falak certainly showing us what he's made of, and the Falcons still attempting to find opportunities to scramble some points away on this one.
Top 4 are all out, so this is a great opportunity for the teams underneath to equalize now. We're looking at Ida, Weibo, 4 Thrives as well. 8 elims this match, which is phenomenal, by the way. 6 of them on Falak so far, and he looks to push that number up slightly, just a little bit to the left. I may have just found that knock. Look to explode the vehicle instead. It's Noki, who moves forward, will knock a grenade of his own, sends it through, might just be far enough, but they turn tail and run, and sprint they'll have to.
So low though, bounce around the tree, Redox on the drop, belly on the ground, but it's not enough for the follow-up. T24 with that one, enough Allo is so far away, couldn't assist for the rest of the squad. He's tucked in for cover, but it's just him now.
This feels like classic for Thrives as well. The nade play has been wonderful to watch. 4 players sweeping in from that eastern side, and from fight to fight, they've looked strong. Not really been much response their way either. Very much a one-sided argument for Thrives so far. Nade's been sent over now to DRX. This is from Horror attempting to cut their way in on the northeast side. Regnum Kaya much more concerned right now with the beast lying in wait on the east side and 4 Thrives.
4 Thrives 4 में alive है और 10 eliminations के साथ
4 Thrives, not just surviving,
but
like we've said time and time again, absolutely thriving living up to their old tricks, showing us the powerhouse that they could really be. Aura here trapped in commotion versus DRX as well. No fear. He bails out. Quick move. Silas still finding impact in the Elim feed as another squad feels the wrath of Regnum Karia.
With 33Z going down, now we're in a full-on brawl, likely to spark soon between 4 Thrives as well as Regnum Kaya, but it's Horror coming in from that northern edge. T24 immediately passes that information back, and Noki will stand at the forefront as the vanguard versus Horror. IQ playing far back down towards the southeast, trying to gather some information over towards Regnum Kaya. And all the while, Nongshan Red Force has been living it large inside their mansion, almost.
Yeah, living their movie sitting pretty. No one's contested them. They really haven't had to do too much whatsoever to get closer and closer towards some sweet, sweet high-end placement points on this one. Falak, though, finally comes unstuck. He's been ripping and tearing his way through everyone in this lobby, but now you've got to play medic if you want to save him. IQ from the side, hits back onto the sky. Sleepy, closing the gap with the scout in play, bails out the vehicle. Oh, the shots connect as well. 4 Thrives losing a lot of their stock on this one now.
But Regnum Kaya trying to steal away some of these elims. They will find a couple, and Wild will find another knock. Falcons go down to DRX as they try to get involved in this one. But it's Regnum Kaya taking that opportunity. It's a perfect opportunity for them to swing round on that southeast edge. They want to clear as many teams as possible. 4 Thrives move back over towards Horror here. And for Regnum Kaya, that was a lovely trade for them.
Aura going to be dropping the hoorah as the energy's there. You've still got to contain yourself, reset from the angles that are in play. Sleepy and No Fear, they're split up. Hyunbin finding impact back over onto Ida as well, and this story continues. DRX decimating onto Ida, and Nongshan Red Force finally, they get thrown a bit of a deathly blow as there'll be a connection back over from Regnum Karia.
Handle and keep them at bay here, and it has to be done as we get through in towards our next circles. Most teams desperate for this one to move away from Nongshan Red Force, but will it ever? Directly on top of them, and realistically for a lot of our other teams, they're playing for second now. Nongshan Red Force, as aggressive team as they are, will just have to bide their time. They're going to have to sit still and just make sure that blood doesn't thump too hard, and they get the signal to send out of the building with the rage that is building.
Getting ants in your pants at a time like this could be the worst outcome for them. You've got to say, I mean, props to Regnum Karia, very proactive heads-up gameplay right now with the fights that they've been willing to take. They started slow, but they have not stopped since they found momentum. Nades being thrown back out as well, trying to get that one on target down towards Aura. And then DRX ushered further forward, slowly advancing, looking to play off one another with cover. Sleepy in the vehicle makes a move. Ida still getting hit by the play zone as well.
Really could not move at all here. Regnum Kaya is trying to slow things down, thinking they're looking for that second place here. They know they need to get the placements as well as the elims. It's tough for them, it's difficult. Aaron, the start play coming through from Ida, wanders through onto that western side, will make a quick sweep before making the pit stop on the northwest side of Nongshan Red Force. Nade just stopped short there of Horror. Regnum Karia's got a different prey on their mind, looking over towards Nongshim Red Force, trying to see if they can find a singular knock before trying to take that task to them.
Aaron can just keep his nose clean as well. He's got some hard cover to work with the airdrops that are close by. So just tucks himself in position. Straight down the middle. Here's the push up though from Regnum Karia. Instant engagement from Bloxy, who locks on, and Sleepy is down and out. No fear, barely standing tall as well. So much damage done from the engagement.
It's going to be a long nade, by the way, he's sending here. I don't think it's going to go far enough. I think you're best off holding these nades for the initial push that's going to happen over towards Nongshim Red Force, and that is good resource control there from Regnum Kai. You can see Wild's got 3 nades, I think Silas had 6, but they don't want to expend too many here versus No Fear. They definitely have some that are expendable, but they need them if they want to push over. But it's good to know that there is at least a plan in the mind of Regnum Kaya of how they're going to assault this building.
Got Aaron as well, throwing out nades on the push-up from Hyunbin. That's what I was saying. He tucked himself into an angle to actually make it kind of uncomfortable. Ooh, Nongshim Red Force baited into this one potentially, though. Looking for a look over the top of the ridge. Aaron trying to keep himself down. Nades coming in. Firsts on target. Follow-up's good. Doxy dismantles Ida. They're out of the running now.
There is a slight distraction here. Going through up towards Nongshim Red Force. I think that Regnum Kai is going to try and play this one out for Zone 9, honestly, and hope that this is not central. I don't think it is, and it will force Nongshim Red Force out. But Toshbik sends in first and will manage to get towards the backside here. Nongshim Red Force weren't able to control it, and Nongshim Red Force, they see red. They move out of the building, and Regnum Kai has picked up position.
DRX are dealing damage and handling themselves up close and personal. For Nongshim, it's going wrong. Binny now with a thin veil of smoke to protect himself, but look at all of the nades. Everyone priming these from the top of the roof, dashing them down. They had such a power play position for so damn long, but the minute they advance, DRX makes it uncomfortable. And Binny, you're living on borrowed time. Regnum Karia, if they find this one, they're setting themselves up for a huge chicken dinner.
10 points on the game and plenty more eliminations to be found here for Regnum Kaya. Like we said before, they've been holding on to these resources. They knew the angle they'd need to take. Silas goes down, but not before a nade sent through. Sizzy goes out, and it will be Regnum Kaya looking for the big finish here versus DRX, Jackie.
They just need that final knock. Convert this one, close it down. The slow build-up. Oh, and that's enough. All it takes, the push-up from the zone, being the 5th man in the lobby for Regnum Karia, as they're able to convert that one. A great game, good decision-making. The third parties were on point, and they walk away with a chicken dinner here in the playoffs.
It's a big game for them, a much-needed match. The top 4 went out early as well, as we talked about, so this will bump Regnum Kaya back up towards that top side of the tables. But for Nongshim Red Force, like we said, that force from them builds quite a bit. The rage needs to be contained. They can't always be looking for these massively aggressive plays. They could have sit still for a little bit longer, but that leg was jiggling and they wanted to get it moving.
Yeah, baited out by the last man from Ida. Aaron just behind the box causes problems against DRX. They swoop in thinking we could just clean up on this one, take it all home, but it was not a spilled drink. They did not clean it easy, and it presented opportunities for this team on your screens to run away with it.
Regnum Kaya make it messy towards the end zone. But we're going to clean up right now, and we'll take you to a break, in which case we'll come back with the desk.
This land is calling.
Pulsar Legionnaire available now. First outfit with special head animations and voice lines. The Pulsar Legionnaire set comes with its own super cute voice lines that can be toggled on or off.
What happened? Bye, friend. Hello, Earth. I'm here.
It also features the upgradable Hyperion ship DSR. And Jet Reaver Glider with special animations. Experience parachuting like never before. That's not all. Even more rewards await. Event period, July 25th, 2025 through August 26th, 2025. What are you waiting for? Get the new Guild set now.
Regnum Carrier capitalizes on the entire nation of South Korea and is able to wrestle away, or barely wrestle away, that compound there from Nongshim Red Force to get themselves the victory. Joining me, Neptura, as well as Seven, to talk about this one. Neptura, this raised some questions, but Regnum Carrier looking strong.
They are looking strong. After a confusing start, for me personally, they are looking very, very strong indeed. I'm not sure what was happening in the early game. They were still in Roshawk in phase 2, still in the blue, still out there in phase 3 even, but I actually really liked their wide wraparound, and that really set them off for the rest of the game.
I mean, you got to give credit to Regnum Carrier. Even though they did end up rotating late, I really enjoyed the crashes that they were able to do. This team was just really confident. They were able to crash on 2 players from APG. After that, they made sure that they made Fourth Thrive's actually back off, and that's what's ultimately a bit of Fourth Thrive's demise there, because they don't want to take over Regnum Carrier. But looking at the overall the match ranking here, the RX still being able to put up some points.
Yeah, very impressive by them on the north side. They were fighting. I think it's fair to say. Okay, let's just instantly address it.
Yes.
Nongshim Red Force.
Great team.
It's 7 points from that here, Seven. It's a bit of a disaster considering what you should have been able to get from this game.
Yeah, you're an evil person. You would send it to me too, because man, I was fuming as soon as I saw this team leave the compound after not doing absolutely a damn thing throughout the whole match, saying this is why this team is so passive. You were saying it perfectly too, Cal. You thought that this team was going to end up maybe a little bit scared of getting sandwiched, but even then, just try to use that utility. There was already so many smokes there on that compound, and you decide to give the high ground to Regnum Carrier of all teams?
The green room was in shambles, weren't we? When they made that play, it was like, what are you doing? I mean, if you want to go for a harebrained push like that, at least just use 2. If you're going to go, oh, we've got some opening knocks onto DRX. No, I don't agree with it at all. But I would agree with it better than sending all 4 off of those houses. It shouldn't have been done in the first place, but it is what it is. And Regnum Carrier, I will say Regnum Carrier's timing on that, as soon as they saw, hang on a second, they've made a massive blunder. We can take advantage of this. They full sent to that. It was really, really nicely played from them. I do want to go very quickly back to Regnum, though, because that initial south rotation early on in the game, it actually was a really good play for them, because they were able to come up behind Fourth Thrives, behind APG as well. And as those teams moved up and got fought on that hillside, they were actually able to come up and sandwich behind them. So it was actually really well set up from them as well. So coming in through that and then getting all that momentum, third-partying everything they could find up against a Nongshim who hasn't done anything all game except sit in a compound and then make a mistake. I mean, it was a very easy win for them.
Yeah, for Regnum Carrier, it just came down to that aggression that they were showing throughout that match. But let's go back to Nongshim Red Force. Yeah. You were talking about maybe sending 2. Don't send in anybody.
No.
What are you doing? What are you doing giving your high ground to another team? And if they were gonna to be wanting to do anything, we were actually talking about this. Maybe try to set up a player on the roof of that compound because you already have utility. You didn't have to do anything throughout the match. You can use that utility to defend yourself from DRX and be ready for any type of push that Regnum Karya was going to have to do on you.
If anything, it would have yielded more limbs. Never mind like a potential win or something like that. But anyway, that's by the by. Other teams that we want to focus on as well. Good old 4 Thrives. The team that Mr. 7 did pick to do well. Talk to me.
I mean, it was just an amazing play out of this team. Being able to rotate early on to the southwest of the military island. After that, they were able to spot that APG had moved on. And I think this is one thing that Max and I were talking about throughout the match. We were expecting APG to actually be in military apartments. They gave that up, and 4 Thrives was able to take full advantage of it. You can see exactly why, as Falak was able to get 6 eliminations, and I actually enjoyed what Falak was doing. He still overextended a little bit there towards the end. The team was a bit too split, and Hora ended up just capitalizing on that. But before that, they were just being proactive. They were showing the aggression that we have seen out of this team in group stage.
Yeah, I mean, for example, I really liked Falak's nade over onto Power, right? Was it Ragnar, the last player? He actually, with that nade, not only got rid of a team, but he opened up a position for his own team, right? So they were able to push on top of that. So he, even though he does overextend just a little bit, he's doing so much for his team as an entry point.
Well, if you want to extend on that too, this team kept on sweeping. That's what I enjoyed, wanting to gain control. And if we talk about sweeping, one team that was able to do that great was Power.
Yeah, they were looking good. They were looking good for it. But I'm getting word that we are ready to head over to Barney, who is actually with Suk from Weibo after their couple of games here for the grand final.
Welcome back to the main stage where I've got Suk here from Weibo Gaming. We are 3 maps into day 1 of the grand finals and things are starting to heat up already. Suk, the first thing I want to ask you, it's the grand finals. You guys are performing pretty well straight off the bat. I want to ask you how you feel like your games are going so far, what can be improved on and what's going well.
首先就是你们现在已经到了总决赛嘛，然后在总决赛当中，你们今天一开始的时候感觉状态还是挺好的，就是打的成绩也不错。就想问你个人来讲的话，你觉得你今天发挥怎么样呢？哪里有什么要进步的，以及要调整的吗？
还好，只不过我们在世界赛这个舞台好像有一些困难需要去克服，就比如说对手他的一些不按套路出牌，然后他们可能做出一些针对，比如说我们上一把的海岛在机场被 Power 所针对了一下，因为正常情况下他一个 M 层队伍可能会去正常运营，但是他选择来到海边堵我们一个 P 港进圈的路线，所以我们可能在接下来的比赛会去着重往这方面去优化。
Well, we have done pretty well so far, but we do feel like this is the grand finals, this is the main stage. We are noticing that some of the other teams are obviously doing or at least strategizing around us. Like for example, in the last map, Erangel, when we landed at the airport, I think P team they are a team that usually lands in like an M city or something, and then they actually came over to airport with us, and they kind of targeted us. So we kind of need to adapt around that. We need to make sure that we are more on our pose and be able to counter whatever strategies that our opponents have prepared for us.
You sound like you know what's going on. I think that something I need to mention as well, something that's been really amazing to see here in the Gidea Esports Arena, is how many Chinese fans that we have in the crowd cheering you on. It's been so amazing to see. How does it feel having this kind of national support here at the Esports World Cup? And is there anything you'd like to say to them?
就现在你到这个主舞台上面呢，也有来了很多中国的粉丝到现场来支持你们。你有什么话想跟就是你现在感觉怎么样？有这些粉丝在这边在现场能支持你，以及有什么话想跟他们说的吗？
无需多言 ，I love you。
I understood that one. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us in this interview, Suk. You're doing really well so far, but obviously we've got 3 more maps today and of course the rest of the weekend to see if you guys can prove yourself and lift that trophy. But for now, let's head back to you guys.
Well, there you have it. There is Suk giving us some info about what's going on in Weibo at the moment here. But let's talk about some of the other teams from these Erangels, of course. Hora. They were able to put themselves in a better position, I feel, compared to the previous games.
I have to agree. I think they actually did a really, really good job of not only positioning themselves correctly, but also being more aggressive with these things, you know? We saw some really great pushes, some really good timing, some really good third parties, and I want to predict that they will win a game today, because that's how they're looking.
Yeah, well, we'll go back on Hora in a bit.
Will.
I'm actually impressed at just first place to 8th place. Currently only being separated by 8 points.
Whoa.
This might be the closest first 3 games we have ever had at an international.
Before we even move on, I want you to take a look at Power. Power's all points are just coming in from eliminations. I've never seen that before, especially for a team that's in top 4.
Well, it's consistent with their brand, right? Because let's be real, in the, I think it was either group stages or survival, I think it was like 40 elims compared to about 10 or 15 placement points. So we know that they can frag out. And usually Neptura, as we take a look through at 9th and 16th, when a team is able to frag out like that, eventually placement points will come. So maybe this is a good omen for Power.
I should hope so. I've really enjoyed how they played so far today. I do agree that I think we are going to see probably a lot more placements coming their way because we've seen it from them before as well, haven't we? Certainly in the survival stage, they were doing a lot in terms of those placement points, really able to control those end zones and getting a win a lot of the time. So it's bound to happen.
The way that they've been aggressive, that's what was impressive to me in that last match. The way that they were able to spread out, they were showing us exactly how they were able to play in survival stage, making sure they had those big splits, get a big area on the zone, and going to Hora, they're pretty much doing the same thing too. They were having 1-2-1 splits that worked out wonders for them, and at the end, took the fight to 4 drives and actually won it until they got their party.
I've been impressed by their glow up from group stage through into survival stage and now here in the final. Let's see if they can continue it as well. But also, we have another opportunity for you guys at home to be involved, because starting from August the 1st, that's today, we have the PDP Global Fashion Icon Contest officially kicking off. So, the cool thing about this competition is it accepts both in-game outfit design submissions as well as people participating by showcasing their real-life outfits for you guys to wear at home in real life as well. So use your sense of fashion to influence the world, and the total prize pool can reach up to $120,000. To participate or view detailed rules, please visit the PDP section on the official PUBG mobile website or follow the official social media accounts. Exciting stuff. I think, Seven, you've got a great fashion sense. You could win. I'm just lying, of course. All right, well, let's head on over to Barney now, as well as Veracity. They're ready to kick off the hard time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Qiddiya Esports Arena, where we are halfway through day 1 of the Grand Finals, and things are really starting to heat up. The spectacle is growing. We've had some amazing performances so far, and it's starting to heat up. Veracity.
It certainly is, Barney. I'm super excited for the first day of our Grand Finals here in the Qiddiya Esports Arena. We've had some fantastic games so far.
We have, haven't we? I'm buzzing. So, map number 1, Power started extremely strong. 6 eliminations on the board, but only 1 player remained, and it was easy, securing a further 3 eliminations, bringing their total to 9. But the final face-off was between Alter Ego Esports and Alter Ego Ares, in fact, let's get it right, and Ida Esports. Alter Ego managing to secure the winner-winner chicken dinner and 23 points on the board.
You know what, though, Barney? In match 2, we saw an incredibly defensive Team Falcons coming on through, which was a far cry from the performance of top 3 placements we saw coming out from them during the survival stage. However, our final fight saw Yangon Galacticos and Team Secret going head-to-head, with Yangon Galacticos walking away victorious in that one with 12 eliminations under their belt. You get up there, Barney?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually starting to like it. Not bothered.
All right, in which case we'll go ahead and leave you up there. Match 3, however, with Yangon Galacticos having a giant target on their back, they were understandably the very first team to get eliminated during that one. It was grenades galore all throughout the match. However, for 4 Thrives and Power Esports, each of those teams had 10 eliminations each. But unfortunately, neither of them were able to make it to the final stages of the match. Instead, however, we saw Regnum Karia walking away with a winner-winner chicken dinner. How about that one?
You know that this isn't over. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get ready for map number 4 of day 1 of the Grand Finals.
There it is, map number 4 coming your way, our final Erangel of the day before we head into back-to-back Miramars. It's been a lot of fun watching the front ends of the matches, and now it's time to watch the back end and see if some of our teams towards the bottom, who might be on the struggle bus, very early going, however, start to rise up. I'm Taylor Reflections, and we're joined by John. And John, I'm excited to get this one started, brother, because last game was nutty. We had, of course, that military end zone. Super sad I wasn't a part of it. I love military zones. Hoping we get one here, but did see a bit of some fumbles. I don't know, maybe some grand final nerves starting to come out.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Nongshim Red Force's decisions were at best questionable in those final moments. They were having a bit of a nightmare in that final scenario. Very quiet all game. They were timid and hiding behind the curtains of their buildings, but in the end, they made that wrong call. They pushed out and Regnum Kai able to sweep them under the rug. It has been quite a different story in each of our matches. That's what's led to the tables being as they are. It is very, very close towards the top side. There is no clear front runner right now, even if we've got a team at the top of the tables. As much as it's nice to be there, it is not a secure place. So, with another Erangel to play today, we are going to be kicking things off for one more grassy pastures. I can see they've gotten rid of Barney off that stage. His square has descended and he's allowed back to the green room. He can have a drink of water, get refreshed, because it is about to get messy.
Let's get it going. Game number 4, back to Erangel, and time to see who's ready to perform and who is ready, well, to drop the ball. It's going to be a fun one without question. Fourth Rise, been looking for them to step it up. They're not doing too bad necessarily. 18 points, 9th place, but first place after all with Alter Ego is just at 28. Very doable. It's only day 1, 3 games in. No alarm bells ringing just yet. Maybe we'll start some tomorrow when we get into game 4, 5, and 6. I do want to see Horda, though, do a lot better than where they currently are at 13. I really think that's a roster that performed very, very well throughout the group stages, obviously throughout the survival stages. But today, been falling a bit flat. And the same could be said for Team Falcons, who obviously the home team going for that club championship race. That's a roster that needs a top 8 finish. Right now in 15th, just one spot away from the bottom.
It's not friendly to be down there. Of course, you've got 18 matches left to play. It's a longer set than the 12 we've been used to seeing for each of our teams over the survival stage, over those group stages as well. So a little bit more leeway on these slightly lower than expectations performances. But hopefully they can pick up the pace here in match number 4 on the day, as our top players do slide on past our eyeballs. You can see Al Haji, with the support from his father, of course, having a good time. Circle pops, and we're heading out to the east side of Erangel.
Love this zone. I think it's going to be a bit spicy for the military zone players. Well, they get a little bit of a profit, I think, at least for 2 teams, if I'm not mistaken, who consistently land down over at military. Maybe we throw in a third, but you do have to kind of start thinking ahead of the game, man. At that that eastern bridge might be a bit spicy, but here in what do we see?
Fireflux and Horror both will come into contact with one another on their, maybe not a hot drop, but on those vehicles, they are going to get contested. At the moment, there is a knock sent over towards Horror, but Fireflux playing on as 3 as they have had a player confirmed down and out. That is not good news to kick things off, especially given where the circle has fallen on this east side.
Yeah, without a doubt. And for Fireflux especially, being all the way at the bottom, I feel they have had some shining moments throughout our tournament, but today, they've fallen very flat, and already losing a player is going to put their backs even further against the wall. What looks to be getting their teammate back up into the fight, so that's going to be good news for them. A team, again, that performed very well throughout the previous days, looking to step it up here. Sleepy is going to be split off in the distance. Luckily for him, he's going to be just fine. Nobody looking to contest. We do have Power and Ragnum Karya relatively close. Now, we did notice one of the interesting things about Power is no placement points, but they're still up there in the top 4 because of the eliminations.
Ooh, maybe another Elim for Ida, but no, not quite able to connect. Yeah, absolutely correct. The desk was highlighting it as well, of course, with Power not able to get into the placements on any of their 3 matches, but still being in the top 5 is insane, right? And they are right on the doorstep of potentially doing a little bit more. So if they're able to do this in these early game scraps, a much more heavy elimination focus, taking inspiration from the likes of IHC a couple of years back and making sure that they are primarily focused in these scenarios. If they can get into these late games, if they can get a chicken dinner or 2 on board, bolster up those placements, it is a fearsome roster to be worried about. As we hop on board with the Falcons, though, up towards Pachinki. They don't have any contest here, but it has not been a nice sight to see if you're a Falcons fan, and I know there's plenty out there in the arena.
That's right.
And they aren't going to be too happy with them for the time being. 2 points average on the games they've played, that's not good.
But we got to appreciate having Pachinki to yourselves for Falcons. That's plenty of loot they're going to have, especially going into the next zone, which is getting tightly contested. For Falcons, they should have an easy transition in, depending on where DRX chooses to land. And, well, for DRX, they're going to leave one player out and maybe be the scout for the roster. See how that ends up unfolding. For Power's sake, though, they continue to move central zone, where Regnum Kari are currently at. Fireflux and Nogsham Red Force not far behind. Could get a little bit spicy as a lot of vehicles are moving, teams are traveling, and they're starting to lock in those hard-cover POIs.
Power Esports drawing up in the garage there. They will be playing all three of them stopping off on the building. And they are sending another further on out. So we get a replay. This is that hot drop. Matcap, okay. It was 2 players with knives. And in the end, Sky was able to tag him for 1, and then Sleepy chefed him up something awful over in the garage there. Only the pistol to defend, and that's not good news.
Could have been scary. Rosemary opposite of AJ from Thunder Talk. I'll pop out. That was a great placement, and in fact, it's going to end up in a drop. AJ putting in work early on. Full health, mind you. He could truly do a lot of damage to this Alter Egos roster up ahead.
Thunder Talk bolstering their position as well, with King sidling on forwards. Alter Ego trying to pull Rosemary back to his feet there. And they are going to put a lot of investment into it, but Moana, goes for the nade and flushes his own teammate out. That is not a good start for Alter Ego to try and defend this top spot on the table. And now it's Thunder Talk looking to keep this pace going. All 4 of them now in situ, and they can play on a numbers advantage. A little bit split for Alter Ego. Alva under a lot of pressure there. The reload needs to come through. Can he connect with the auto shotty?
He stays in the corner. Dodging those jump shots, goes for the retreat, and is successful in getting some distance between them, which means he can reposition and fight the duo of Thunder Talk. That fight still going to be well underway, and he's going to continue to distance himself, maybe get an off angle onto AJ. It pays off. The down is in, but the 2 members from Thunder Talk are hot on his heels.
They're still on the outside of the wall, though, and with King falling, this means that nobody is forward for Thunder Talk. They're now trapped on the outside, out in the cold, and Thunder Talk are getting rinsed right now.
Rinsed indeed, but I love that angle from King. Alva play this very, very carefully. Even if Thunder Talk wins this fight, like you said, they are in dire straits, and I really do think that's a huge oversight. This duo should have pushed up on him and taken him down. Having Alva on that off angle was detrimental to Thunder Talk. Obviously, your duo ends up falling, and now you're leaving. You gain 0 value. The 10-minute fights do not work out if you want to be a champion.
I mean, much like the Omnidroid from The Incredibles, right? The only thing tough enough to take down an Alter Ego player in this match is themselves. The only thing that has taken one of them down fully is that team nade. And that's not the sort of coordination that you want to see coming on through, especially in Mill to Power on a circle like this. You know, it's so important to have everybody alive in a central location in these early circles, right? You want to transition in towards the late game. They've pushed up towards 30 points, though. And they will be okay for the time being, and playing on a 3. Not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world, but see how that game ends up unfolding. Smile barely, just a nick of health, and manages to get away. Team Secret applying the pressure. Yangon Galactica's Team Secret rotating maybe up north, then dropping down south through Naya. Team Secret could get a drop on them if they continue to progress forward, which could be great for playing a gatekeeper role. For now, just trying to heal up and just really recover. For Team Secret, though, unfortunately, I think they're going to lose at least 1 into blue, if I'm not mistaken. For Barnett, though, he's moving up.
So the rest of the team, at least several of them, are trying to go in pursuit here, hopping out, going for the spray. Xeris has to divert, send back behind the headland. Is there an off-angle hop out? No, but the blue zone will do a little bit more damage here. We're only at stage 1, so this is very, very survivable on these rotates. It's not really going to do much more to them, and those sims already on the bar there for Xeris mean that he's got to stay very, very healthy here, unless a couple more shots connect, which it doesn't look like they're going to. Sending over the north side of the Yaz Lake. I imagine that Yangon Galacticos going to divert. Not too keen to go in behind them, but we'll have to wait and see. The plane path, sorry, the next circle just about to come on through.
Yeah, Yangon Galacticos, I thought we're going to take the roadway and then cut through, but Say Cloud has stayed up top. He wants presence behind Team Secret. Meanwhile, the other 3 are in fact going to go in succession down low, and Say Cloud does deviate away, maybe wanting to stay in Team Secret's mindsets, but getting tightly contested in the southern portion. And E-Arena versus Falcons, a team that's been on the struggle bus, or E-Arena. I love the way that they've been playing. Granted, today they've been falling flat, so this fight critical for both rosters.
Irida disengaged from that one. They had the numbers advantage. Perhaps they were reading too much into the circle. They thought if we can't conclude this fight immediately, there's a third party potential. But they had a massive advantage in that fight. Only 2 of the Falcons are on the inside. I'm not too sure about the decision to disengage it, but we'll see how they can play on from here. Meantime, Power look to rack up even more elims. They're now up to 1 on the tables, and that's going to put them up on 26 with no placement points.
Taking down Noxium Red Force would be huge for them, mind you. I really feel, based off of that last play in the last map where Noxium Red Force had center zone, had the hardcover POI and pushed out, I feel that was a massive oversight, potentially starting to get into their own heads. So for Power, pushing this fight could be big. For Weibo, well, we can't even stay upright. We got 4 wills. Well, they decide to use 2.
They're going to maintain course though, self-righting, going all the way out west for a wide wrap from Weibo to go out on that west side bridge. APG, they're ahead. Alpha Gaming will send over that east side bridge, fairly uncontested now, and they are sending up north. Yeah, this is just the continuing long rotate from Weibo to go out to all the way on that west side. They're getting across the bridge. They'll be pushing in from around Potato Hill, but don't expect to see them for another 2 minutes.
That's right. We won't see them for a long time. For APG, well, you saw what the game plan was. They were setting up to gatekeep Weibo. So this long rotate, in my opinion, was critical for Weibo. They only had one choice, and that was to take the western side bridge. For APG, they don't see any Weibo members. Okay, we move on out and start to progress towards Milta, maybe towards Power. Meanwhile, though, we do have Regnum Karya potentially setting up a trap on Hora, who's going to be up just ahead. A team that played so well through the early stages, now struggling today.
I mean, they're sequestered right up into the cliffs over Prison. It does severely limit their sightlines here for Regnum Karya. They're going to have to try just gather that info from the sound. They have got that outpost Silas a little bit disparate from them. We'll be rotating around, feeding back a little bit more info. But for the time being, they are a little bit crunched in here. Hora a little bit less so. They've got a little bit more leeway on the side of that Prison cliff face. Teams trying to get central. Nobody really getting too aggy with it just now. It's only Thunder Talk who have lost 2 players and a couple of those earlier elims coming on through as well.
See DRX off in the distance. They've got a couple of teams in their line of sights. Like you said, nobody getting aggro just yet. We see a zone shift up towards the north. For the majority of teams, they're already pretty much sequestered where they currently are. For the rosters like Power, APG, Thunder Talk, the duo, Alter Egos. Weibo finally starting to get their first member out of the blue zone as they head up towards north through school. Maybe even towards Yangon Galacticus. But everybody rotating in. I'm hearing a lot more shots this time around. No surprise for Falcons. Oh, I'm hoping Regnum Karya does not crash into him, and it looks like they're not going to. Even Silas taking too much damage for his own good.
Yeah, crashing in on that position. With the number of third parties available, maybe a death sentence, but instead they turn over towards the dip, and it's 4 Thrives who are eating lead left and right. That is nasty. The team from Pakistan is going to be eliminated very, very quickly.
4 Thrives get melted off the map. You know, a team that dominated throughout group stage, struggling today. We questioned those days off throughout survival stage. Would it be helpful? Would it not? Well, for 4 Thrives, they need to get their legs back underneath them. But Power's also rotating in. Ragnar taking a ton of damage. We got Wild also falling. Ragnar now down. Haji getting active. Ida's gonna fall. It's just a mass amount of teams and bodies on the ground in this area. Haji getting the cleanup. Starkin up ahead, cooking a nade. And this nade, if placed right, could be devastating to Power.
Darkin unleashes it over towards Fadan. The bounce is good, and it will connect for the knock. Haji now, the last player alive for Power. They have 4 elims. They'll want a little bit more, and he's now got a nade cooking. They know where Ida is playing, and nobody's getting out of this dip unscathed. The nade goes long, and Darkin pushes forwards. Haji around the smoke, goes for the spray, and of course he connects it. But there's the shutdown from the off angle. Fireflux shut everything down, and there is no one alive.
We just lost 3 teams just like that in one engagement. Fireflux playing spoiler, and we'll talk on that in just a second. Team Secret now against Alter Egos. You called it. Caster Curse, nobody getting aggro. Well, now we got everyone getting aggro all at the same time. Krypton going to pick up Ayala over in the corner, and another team has been lost. We just lost 4 teams in the span of about 45 seconds.
That was insane. 4 teams went into that dip, and none of them got out of it. It was insane.
Wow.
It was being held, I believe, originally by 4 Thrives.
Yes.
Then both Regnum Kaya and Ida crashed in at the same time, and then Power lapped in over the top. Wow. Fireflux were just like, this is ridiculous, guys. You need to chill out. They put them in the cooler, and it's going to maintain Power's record of getting no placement points, but they still got 5 elims on this match.
It's such a bummer, though, for Power because Al-Haji is the last one standing. He's the champion of the team fights, 4 teams in one area, and then Fireflux says, hey, good job, buddy. I got you. Takes him right down. Either way, like you said, 5 elims. You got to be happy with that for Alter Egos at 5 themselves. And, of course, another zone shift going to be taking place. But, yeah, that was probably one of the craziest fights we've seen today.
Absolutely insane stuff. A hard south shift, and this is going to help out teams like DRX, like Falcons, if they can hold their nerve out in the open. A lot of open ground, right? We saw how difficult it is to approach this Falcons position. When it gets closer and closer on the circle, it gets slightly easier, right? Because there's fewer and fewer positions that sit around them that can take those third-party shots. There's fewer teams that are potentially going to third-party on towards you. So Falcons, their strength is really good right now in terms of position, but that will start to falter when the teams around them start to get involved, start to get dropped. But I'm expecting to see them into this one deep, potentially up to stage 6.
I was looking at this Thunder Talk. We see a replay coming in. This is the Team Secret fight versus Alter Egos, and Xerus is putting in work, but it was Krypton who was able to even up the odds, silence Team Secret, and send them packing to the next game. Weibo, Thunder Talk, finally back on your screen, and, well, not for long as one is taken down immediately.
PEL derby right now between Weibo and Thunder Talk, but it seems pretty clean, done and dusted. 3 players alive for Weibo and 1 for Thunder Talk. Together they make a full team, but there's no cooperation here. It's Xing sending off into the horizon.
Xing is gone. Thunder Talk's been in survival mode since the early goings of this game. 2 eliminations. You're not too happy with that. Maybe some placement points will help you out. Doc with a great angle. Maybe surprise some members from DRX up ahead if you can get a line of sight on him. Nobody can be seen just yet, but Doc is a guy that's sneaky, and if he sees you, he's taking you down.
Nongshim Red Force, they've got 2 players alive, 1 further back. Let's hope that they can do a little bit better, although with only 2 players right on the edge here, it's going to be difficult. That shelter position can keep them alive for quite a while. Xing takes a couple of shots over towards Seoul, who's actually going to reposition away from this one, but Xing has to push a little bit further in. He's going to go into the wake of APG, so Alpha Gaming going to actually allow this rotate to happen.
He fired a couple of shots, nearly getting it down. The fact that he's still alive is incredible. This is where Doc was, I believe, and actually, excuse me, Doc's going to be on the opposite side. And so this Doc will stay where he's currently at to overlook everybody who's going to be up. You got DRX still off in the distance. So DRX in a pretty precarious spot, if I had to say so, because Nongshim Red Force is over there. They have a presence. And then you also have another one from a distance. Xing narrowly avoiding getting squashed. 33Z hops out. And finally, Thunder Talk will fall. Again, surviving for the longest time. But one by one, they were picked apart until they were finally eliminated.
And in their wake, this rotate will be pursued down by Hora, who are going to move out now to this southeast side. All 4 of their players are alive, and they're looking for a good game here. Having underperformed so far in the first 3 matches, they're going to try and take on some PEL representatives as they are going to try and find that wrap back around. The smoke's keeping them safe, but both of these 2 teams are actually right up and against the blue zone. Hora overextending now, and they are going to fold back in towards themselves, play that east side. They actually lose a player to Krypton over on that north edge, so they can't really afford to place too much pressure on this south side.
Question is, do they? Hora continues to get closer and closer. Krypton maybe tempting that he wants to get away. Alva has dipped himself. But Krypton will continue to fight, and you know, he's a scary player. 4 eliminations already, John, and a guy that can very well take down the entirety of the Hora roster if they're not careful. For Sky, he needs to keep his head on a swivel. He's going to be the one to truly shut down Krypton if he makes an attempt to maybe challenge No Fear and Sleepy up ahead.
Chance there. With 4 elims, Krypton is pumping today. Doing a lot of work for the roster, but with only 2 players against the 3, they do have the disadvantage. They're on the outskirts as well. Their options fairly limited. I wouldn't be too surprised to see them try and sweep up north. With Hora pushing into the tower, they're going to be a little bit less mobile, not going to be as easily able to go in pursuit, but they could equally try and find Sky, and that looks like maybe what they're going to try and do here. Wrap back around, play on the backside here, and open up a window of opportunity for themselves. But Weibo Gaming are just over that ridgeline, and Krypton in danger now. Sky has to go for the reload, and it's actually fairly low on ammo here.
Oh, but yeah, it was Alva, so the car was a distraction. Alva was pushing up, but now he's getting pressured by Hora as they push in. Alva, a sliver of hell, taken down by No Fear. Krypton now damage control. He's got Weibo to his flanks, and now you've got one alter ego member of Krypton right smack dab in between Weibo and a Hora roster. So Hora got to make a decision. Who do we challenge first? Krypton to solo, Weibo up ahead. Do we disengage and maybe...
Hora's getting a little bit froggy.
Yeah, he definitely is. He definitely is. No Fear's right there. Ready to apex this hill. Krypton to the right. This is going to get spicy indeed. Nade cooking. Krypton going on the attack. Surely No Fear takes down Krypton in this moment, but no, Krypton's going to be free and clear to make this push up. He finally starts to take a little bit of damage, and rightly so. It was No Fear along with Order who takes him down, Order getting the elimination. Now, Weibo can put all their eggs in one basket and focus on Hora, who's up ahead.
They can try and now turn and get ahead of this one. They do still have a couple of players in tow. They've got that outpost down to the southwest side in 33Z, who's been scouting, who's been gathering that information. Hora, they've been locked into this fight for a while. Looking at the rest of the circle, meanwhile, Falcons, they've been chilling in their building for a long, long time now. They have managed to rack up 3 Elim points and actually make that maybe a couple more as the nades land over towards Fireflux. They're going to have to think about getting out of this business, though, for the time being. They are right on the edge of the circle. They'll be safe for now. DRX have been holding out on the southwest for a nice while as well, but Yangon Galacticos going to be putting pressure on. I feel like that's the next crash coming on through, and SayCloud's going to send it.
Yeah, absolutely going to be the next fight. Falcons, mind you, also focused on Fireflux over here in the shed. They took a little bit of damage from DRX. In fact, Redox is going to fall once again. Scarface getting some shots. SayCloud onto Quiz. You mentioned it, Yangon Galactica starting to push up, but